Like,
what up?
talking all kinds of shit to myself.
Yeah, you were talking all sorts of stuff when I was gone to the bathroom a minute
Oh,
ago.
dude, you went to the bathroom. I left because we start recording the audio prior to this. So while you were gone, I was singing you a very nice song about how you lick balls. So when you're editing the audio, you're gonna get that. You'll appreciate that.
I'm sure. Now, I was made aware that there is an issue with YouTube right now, and we may not have anybody watching. Just for the record, I just saw that, and there are 2 people live, like viewing right now. And if I load it, it says an error occurred. Please try again later.
Really?
So, yeah, this might be a really bad night to record a podcast.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. We are the kings of technical issues.
Well, I don't think this one's us. This one, I think, has been YouTube most of the night.
Playback. Yeah, what the fuck's up with that? An error occurred. I just tried to load it too.
Yeah, we got 3 people watching.
I mean, I'm surprised even 3 people could get in here.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in the somebody said nope, Biden is fucking something up.
God.
Yeah, we're not going to get into fucking politics. It's scary. Yeah, maybe has this been going on for a while? Is this something we think will pop up here soon?
35 minutes ago, it's not just you. YouTube is down. That comes from Android Police.
I would have to think YouTube's going to be on top of that because
yeah, this is maybe not the best time to go live.
Right? I wonder if they have an ETA. Yeah, because I mean, we're dead in the water. I don't think there's even 3 people actually. It
says 6 people. There are a few people in the chat that were saying that they can see it, but
really?
Hey, yeah.
I can't see shit, man. I am, and this isn't on us. This is YouTube, because actually another one of my videos said that when I just went to my main page. So yay, YouTube, which is actually kind of rare. I can't say too much shit because YouTube is actually fairly on the ball most of the time.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I've seen YouTube be down for quite some time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've never seen them be down for more than like 15 or 20 minutes in the normally.
Yeah, I've been busy all day and I didn't sit down at my desk to even see anything until about 20 minutes ago. So this comes as a surprise to me. We could try to stream it over on Twitch and try to get the word out, but I don't think many people are going to be able to join us over there.
No.
And does StreamYard integrate with Twitch?
That's a good question. I know about as much about Twitch as like I know. I mean, I couldn't even think of something I don't know a lot about because I know everything.
Being vegan there.
Yeah, I know about as much about Twitch as I know about. Actually, I do know quite a bit about being vegan because you can't fuck with the vegans unless you know a little bit about it, or you just sound like an ignorant ass.
Well, you're really good
actually,
at that too, so
dude, I actually had somebody get a little butthurt at me about picking on vegans. And I mean, here's the funny thing about that, right? It's lighthearted. Like I have family members that are vegan. Like I don't really, there's just a lot of vegans that are annoying, right? A lot of vegans are vegans and we've talked about it before. Like they can't wait to tell you they're vegan. Like as soon as you start talking to them, they're looking for the opportunity to be like, I'm vegan. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I was I was jabbing, and I think it was in my post when I listed my man cards. I was like, so if you're vegan or, or if you drink Truly or whatever, this card's not for you. Or I forgot what I said. It was just a joke. And there was a couple of people who were like, that's the most misogynistic fucking blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, shut up. That's what happens when you don't eat meat. You become a pussy. I'm sorry. I don't mean that.
On the good side here, we have a few more people joining, and apparently it's not just YouTube that's down. Apparently BitChute and a lot of other websites are down right now too. So,
oh wow,
it's not just us. Yeah,
it's Al Qaeda trying to attack us via the internet.
It's QAnon.
They know that. Yeah, because I don't have shit all on my side, dude. I got a big fat. An error has occurred. Please try again later. Playback
ID. You know, when I saw that, about
right when we
30
tried to go
seconds.
live.
About 30 seconds before we went live.
Yeah, I didn't even check the YouTube because normally, like, we get all the StreamYard stuff set up, and I keep StreamYard up because of the live chat and stuff, right? So I keep this up, and then I just open up a YouTube window that I pause, and I just use that to check the numbers because I don't think you can see how many people are in live on this one. So I just do that to check the numbers. I don't really ever watch it on YouTube because there's a delay on YouTube. Right. But yeah, I went over to turn it on, and you're like, I think there's a problem.
Well, some people are saying that it's starting to work.
Yeah, we got 22.
Yeah, we can hang around and just chill until things start working.
See if it starts picking up here shortly. What happened? What happened? See if any of these people in stream.
People in the chat are asking for our Twitch stream. We don't have a Twitch stream.
We don't have one.
Yeah, reloading's not working.
Effect reception. Yeah, dude. Let me tell you how fucking annoyed I am with that hurricane situation. It's not really a hurricane, it's a tropical storm. Which, I mean, honestly, for what we're dealing, like, to us, that's not a big deal, right? Because we get shit like that all the time down here, so everything's pretty tightened up for it. But all the counties surrounding us canceled school tomorrow, which kind of makes it easier for me because, well, for multiple reasons. I won't get into that because it'll be a longer story than usual. But my county decided they're not canceling school. And I'm like, you assholes. We're supposed to have like pretty heavy rains tomorrow and 30, 40 mile per hour winds. Nothing that's going to cause any major damage, but it's not too fun taking and dropping your kids off and all this shit with like 30 mile per hour winds and gusty rain. I'm like, you bunch of assholes. Like, normally you guys cancel if anything happens.
Thomas Schilling told me to fix my internet.
This one's not on Taylor, strangely enough, Thomas. Normally, I will throw
yet.
Yeah, normally, just as long as he doesn't plug in a thumb drive, we're good.
Yeah, dude, I was trying to 3D print a minute ago. I wanted to have the 3D printer running while we were recording, but dude, I plugged in a flash drive and everything on my computer started going fucky. So
yeah,
but I did print this. This is my first little print, just a little 20 millimeter cube.
So, is that just like what you print just to kind of test to see if everything's working?
Yeah.
The only problem I have with 3D prints is there's lines in them.
Yeah, there's lines. So
like you can't really I don't know, everything that's printed 3D really, I mean, like, I'll be super stoked when 3D printing gets to a technological level that you could print it and it just looks like a cast or molded plastic thing, right? Like
there are higher quality 3D printers that print in different materials. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're probably expensive as fuck.
I don't know a whole lot about 3D printing, and I'm not buying this to get into 3D printing as much as I am modeling and prototyping some of the stuff I want to build. So
what's funny is my dirty mind, Taylor's like, look, I printed my first thing 3D. I'm like, what, a butt plug?
Jeremy's just upset that I wouldn't 3D print a butt plug for him.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Trying to say.
I wanted a bedazzled butt plug. That's what I wanted. And he agreed to print it, but he wouldn't bedazzle it, and I was thoroughly upset.
Oh.
I don't know, man. I'm still getting nothing. I see some people in the chat saying that so YouTube is down worldwide. Fuck, I hope not. I don't know if anybody can hear this. How does the edge on the sheepdog hold up? I don't know if you can hear me or see me, because I don't know if you're one of the ones. I don't know if you're the ones in here, but so far it's held up fantastic. And I tell you what, I know we haven't gone into what we're carrying yet, but I am still carrying the sheepdog. I think I've changed my opinion on what is the best utility blade shape. I think it's this, bro. That point for opening boxes and shit is great. Cause
that's really any Warncliffe or sheep's foot, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I think these kind of blade shapes are actually better for like utility purposes, right? It's good for food prep. It's got a nice wide blade on it, but it's very good for pinch gripping.
This right here is one of my favorite knives because of blade. That sheep's foot is perfect.
Yeah, dude. I'm
just a really good shine.
I think I'm kind of like, I'm switching over. I'm still, where's my bug out? My bug out's across the room.
Right. You're You're turning into robot on me now.
What? I look fine on my
Yeah.
side, but I guess I'm robot, Mr. Robot. It's probably fucking the whole internet's going down. StreamYard's fucked up. YouTube's fucked up.
Maybe it's the end of
It's
the world.
all. It's hey. With some of the stuff that's going on, it wouldn't surprise me. With some
People
of
are
the
still
stuff,
asking for the Twitch link. We don't have Twitch.
we don't have a Twitch. Can we?
I mean, I have a
can't
Twitch.
type.
I mean,
We
I can
can't
type
type
in here.
in. Can we type? I was supposed to say I won't let me type. Just type no Twitch. We don't have Twitch. We're going to hold out and see if this beach comes back up.
Yeah, that sucks that it's down though. We should have known
known
before we went live, but I mean, we still would have wanted to go live.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just have to just kind of hang
so-
tight for a few.
Yeah,
And see
but
if it comes
if
up.
we have to go on another 20, 30 minutes like this, what are we gonna do? We're gonna call it, or
Yeah, I'd say we'll probably call it. We'll give it like I don't know. We'll give it maybe 20 more minutes. How long have we been live?
12?
12 minutes. So like maybe 40, 45-ish max. If it hasn't done anything, we'll just say, sorry, this isn't our fault this time. And we'll catch
This
you
time.
bitches.
I think if it goes down, we should try to be back. Well, maybe next Wednesday, I guess. But
Yeah, that's as soon as I can. Obviously, my week is fucking
Yeah.
hectic.
yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to get squared away. Can I say?
dude,
I mean, since we're
this
just kind of
fucking
dicking around right now,
This month, goddamn, this month has got me stressed out.
can I just say that I forgot how good these are?
Dude, they're awesome. I don't have those, but just I think AirPods in general are just like one of the best things ever created. Like they're just fucking great.
I had them. I've had these a year and what is it? 1 day now. A year and 1 day because I bought them a year ago yesterday. And about 6 months ago, my right earbud started crapping out. I was talking on the phone with you and I noticed it, and it was popping and cracking and stuff. And that was right around the time the pandemic started, and all the Apple stores were closed. I couldn't go get it exchanged. So I was on the phone with them and they were trying to explain some stuff to me, and I got frustrated. So I just hung up on them. I used to be able to text them from my phone, just be like, hey, I have a problem. And they text back and be like, we're connecting you with a Apple customer service representative. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, so the best customer service ever. And then, dude, they confirmed with me like 7 times on that talk that it was the right earbud that was going out.
I think I remember this. Was that when you were having that weird problem with the
it was popping and cracking and shit.
Yeah, it was like you said it was like the noise canceling feature or something.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what exact. They finally recognized it as an issue, but when they first were going to replace my earbud, they put $90 on hold in my bank account, and then they confirmed it was the right earbud, and then they overnighted a left earbud to me. And I was so pissed, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll have to charge you again." And I'm just like, "Fuck you guys! No, just send me the right one." And they're like, "Well, we can't send you one without putting a hold on your account." And I'm just like, "You fucked it up."
We're like, this isn't me, bitch. Why am I having to pay for it?
Right. So I hopped on the other day, realized that I was 1 day away from my warranty expiring, and they sent me 2 new earbuds overnight, and now they're perfect again. I used to hate these things just because I couldn't use them. I couldn't put them in my ears because they would pop and crack the whole time.
Dude, I love mine. I think they're the greatest things ever. Maybe we should, by the way, put something in the chat saying, hey, we're going to just kind of chill out for 20 or because a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. So maybe we should just type something in the chat saying, hey, we're going to hang out for 20 or 30 and see if this YouTube thing's resolved. And if it doesn't resolve the next 20 or 30, we'll just regroup next week. It's a shame because I had some opinions on this knife situation.
There we go.
It's saying YouTube is down worldwide. If YouTube's down worldwide, I have to assume they're going to fucking have that shit rectified pretty quickly.
I mean, unless they can't, unless it's outside their control. Go live on Instagram. We could do that as just kind of like a alternative. As Jeremy's texting on a live stream. This
Well,
guy.
the wife was telling me that. I mean, it's not really a live stream. we're down. Like, there's not very many people in here.
Yeah,
I could basically fucking rub one out right now, and there wouldn't be but a few people that would notice it.
Please don't. Someone said move to Discord. We could move to Discord, except for we would have to give Jeremy. We'd have to like.
You'd have to give me.
I don't even know how.
I fucking hate Discord. Can I just say that Discord sucks? Big
what a
boomer.
Fat what a boomer. He doesn't understand how Discord works. That's why he doesn't like it.
I understand how it works. The way I don't like it is because, and I'm not saying your Discord is, I'm not saying all are, but I have found a lot of Discords are just cesspits of people pissing and moaning about shit and just drama. And I'm just not about, it's the same reason I fucking hate Reddit. It's just a bunch of people being bitches. Like, that's all it is.
My community is okay sometimes.
But you know what I'm saying, though? Like,
part of the time.
In general, that whole like forum world, it's just a bunch of people that think they should go to www.imfuckingright.com and they get on a soapbox and bitch about everything. And I'm just like, oh,
wait. How many Discords have you been in?
Several. And I got out immediately.
You've been into mine. That's it, right?
No, I've been in other ones. Other people that I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there has been other people since yours. Yours was definitely the first one I'd ever been in. I was like, what the fuck is this Discord nonsense? But there has been some other stuff that's popped up since, because I have the app now. So because of you, and I have jumped to the, and it's a lot. Like I said, I'm not saying all Discords. I'm sure yours is fine, but a lot of them is just a bunch of people being bitches. It's like Reddit, dude. Reddit is a fucking cesspit.
Well, let's see. Let me show you.
Don't you think Reddit is a cesspit? Would you disagree with that statement?
It can be. It definitely can be. Look, they meme the shit out of me over there. Look at this.
That's your duck lips. That's the Taylor Kardashian duck lips.
There's no telling what we're gonna see scrolling through here, but I was looking for somebody made a meme of you.
Oh Jesus!
Where it went?
Wherever he goes, wherever I go, he goes. See
that right there.
The Mandalorian. What the fuck is that?
Milady. Milady Zippo.
I was like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that guy?
I don't know where the Jeremy memes are, but I definitely saw one recently.
What was it? Like a Father Time? I had like some old ass beard.
Dude, I couldn't even begin to tell you at this point. I will be a Pokemon master.
God damn, was that somebody's hand? Was that somebody's hand?
Yeah. When the detent is heavy and you accidentally slip off the flipper tab.
Oh my God, dude. That person's hand is fucked, bro.
That had to have gone through a meat grinder or something.
Dude, that was a hot fucking mess. That like hurt my feelings just to see that.
Yeah, I can't seem to find the Jeremy meme. I tried.
Let's see if YouTube's looking any better. Well, we officially have 28 people in here. It's slowly growing, but I don't know how there's 20. I guess different hubs or it's working, because I got 29 people. Mine is still showing an error has occurred. Please try again later.
The Bourbon Junkies were calling out Father Time last night on their stream.
I meant to get on there last night, but I was busy, and then it was late, and I was tired, and I was like, every time I say I'm going to jump on their live stream and just say hi and then bounce off, I end up being on there for like an hour, because those guys will run late sometimes. I mean, late. And then I end up staying there later than I need to, and I'm fucking tired the next day. And I was busy last night. And I was like, fuck it. I normally like to jump in their streams for at least a few minutes though and say hey to everybody. But
can I say that I'm kind of happy that if this goes sideways and we don't go the full distance, because it means I don't have to edit this podcast this week, but also I probably won't
go
be
home
here.
And watch the Kardashians.
Yes. No, I won't be here until 2 a.m. because look at this. Hang on, let me show you.
You trying to 3D print some shit? Is that what you're worried about? Bye. YouTube is anus. I agree. YouTube definitely can be anus for sure. I don't know if anybody heard that.
This is what I'm working on today.
What
all day. I've been working on this.
What is it?
So the Hanks arrived.
Oh, the Hanks.
Yeah, the Hanks arrived, and I was pre-packing all these. So these are a bunch of pre-labeled.
Can I say, Pete gave you a run for money with his drop that he did. I thought yours was the coolest one I'd ever seen, and I still think it's definitely up there tied.
Well, his is like truly custom. Mine's just topo.
Yeah, it was dope though. Like I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, look at this. All these stickers. Yeah, it's been a day. I did that, and I spent half my day looking for a new office.
You gotta pack all those up.
Yeah, I'd like to drop them off tomorrow morning.
We lost 2. We're back down. Well, we were at 27, 28. I don't know, man. I can't.
Yeah.
It really surprises me that YouTube is down worldwide for this long. Like I could see like a little outage.
Not for me. It doesn't really surprise me. It's just,
I mean, what the fuck? They've got to have redundancies that have redundancies that have redundancies. Like I'm amazed.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's a cascading effect, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if one server goes down, then the next server gets overloaded, and then the next server gets overloaded, and it just takes everything down. That's how I imagine it works. I don't know for sure, but I mean,
I would just imagine a company their size has all kinds of safeguards against shit like that. So it surprises me that they're having this much trouble.
You got to think if they go down for even an hour, how many millions do they lose?
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. So they got to be like, we got to get this shit back. Somebody said hacked by Russians. I wonder if that's legit. You never know with these days.
No idea.
I'm telling you, man. It's like this whole fucking election thing, man. I don't trust any of it. God. And I'm not saying Biden won falsely. I'm saying I don't trust any of it on either side. That's where I stand on a political standpoint.
I don't trust anybody.
I don't trust none of them motherfuckers. Okay. So that's where I stand.
John has a good point. It's the Lone Star ticks trying to get Jeremy.
John, I could have an assassin tick trying to sneak in here, although I don't know that we have a lot of those in my area. I think on the map, though, it said that I did.
They've been moving east, my guy.
I think they actually said on a map. I think they are in my area. But I don't go in the woods that much here, man, because the woods here is fucking miserable to be in. The woods here is not fun like it is up further north, like where you live and further. Like it's just up there, the woods is kind of awesome. Here it is like overgrown, swampy, hot ass palmetto bushes and fucking snakes and banana spiders the size of my fucking hand. And it's just, you ever seen a banana spider?
I think I have, but I don't know for sure.
Dude, I'll have a story that I won't tell now because there's not enough people in here that would get a kick out of it. But my story in a banana spider and me jumping off of a 4-wheeler going full speed because I thought one was on my face. Like it was not a good. Banana spiders are big as fuck. Yeah, and rattlesnakes. I have a fucking YouTube video with me running into a water moccasin on a bike ride with my wife through the neighborhood. Like there's water moccasins around here. Fuck the woods in Florida, bro. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I've been in it. I've went turkey hunting.
Sounding a little pansy-ish here, Jeremy.
No, I mean, I turkey hunt. I haven't in years, but I went turkey hunting, went deer hunting.
Spiders and snakes are scaring you out of the woods. I mean,
fucking poisonous snakes, you'll lose a leg and shit. Yeah, bitch. I ain't talking about a gardener snake. I pick those things up. I see like black racers and gardener snakes and all that shit in my yard all the time. I bring them in and let the kids play with them. But a fucking rattlesnake, I ain't playing with that shit, boy. You must be crazy.
Yeah, you just have to avoid it. You don't have to avoid the whole woods.
Yeah, and we used to go gator hunting too, me and my brother-in-law. So I mean, I definitely am not afraid of nature. But I will say the older I've gotten, the less I want to deal with the woods down here.
You're getting soft, Jeremy. You're getting soft.
Kentucky, like when I go up there, it's beautiful, man. There's like hills and mountains and all kinds of different trees and what down here it's just fucking palmetto bushes and hot. It's hard to fucking woods is thick down here, man. Thick.
You know, everybody here watching YouTube just hitting refresh over and over and over while like probably 0.01% of you are getting through. It's making it 10 times worse for everybody else.
Well, what's funny is YouTube is probably just getting fucking just nailed because their shit's down. And how many people worldwide are refreshing over and over and over?
Right. They probably got DDoSed like an hour ago, and then they're getting DDoSed by everybody else. Just refreshing all time. Yeah. Sucks for them and us, I guess, technically.
Yeah, dude. I can't believe YouTube bombed out, dude. What a bunch of bitches. You did put a comment up there on the thing, right?
Somewhere in the stream, yeah.
Somewhere in the scream. Scream, yeah. Blame it on YouTube. Yeah. Remember that song? Oh, you probably don't remember Blame It on the Rain, do you?
No? we have, sorry, I was reading a thing in the Discord. Somebody is giving the people who can't watch live, they're giving them a play-by-play in the Discord via text.
Oh yeah. Well, what's the
Jeremy is talking shit about Discord being very boomer, according to Taylor. I gave up. That's Taylor, because Taylor is too millennial. Talking about YouTube again. Jeremy is now talking about politics and ticks and complaining about the woods where he lives and complaining about the wildlife in Florida. Taylor is calling him soft now, talking shit about YouTube again. That's amazing.
They're transcribing the podcast. It's very nice of people to try to share the wealth.
Yeah. Jeremy is making bad song references. And next he's going to say Taylor is reading my play-by-play.
This is very meta. That is not a bad song reference, dude. If you were up in the 80s, Blame It on the Rain was a pretty fucking popular song in the 80s. I'm just saying. And it turned out the guys were frauds and they were lip syncing the whole thing and they weren't even fucking singing it. You don't remember that? Were you even alive then?
I wasn't alive for that drama, but I was probably alive. Well, I may have been. I don't know. What year?
What year were you gone?
Was I gone?
I'm sorry, I was reading. What year were you? What
year were you gone?
You know, me and my wife were talking about that earlier because I was reading something and talking to her. And does that ever happen to you where if you're reading something while you're talking to somebody, one of the words you're reading blurts out when you don't mean to because you're meaning to say something else? Does that ever happen to you?
More so when I'm typing and talking.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
But hi, Taylor. Taylor is now reading my play-by-play. Thank you, GC Bailey. Appreciate the updates. No, but I've been on the phone with you, and trust me, if you were ever on the phone with Jeremy and he's doing literally anything else, trying to get anything across to him or move the conversation forward or anything like that, impossible. Absolutely impossible. You guys,
here's the thing,
are laughing about how much I struggle to keep Jeremy on topic, but really, when you're on the phone with him, it is 100 times worse.
Here's the thing. Normally, I would dispute your comments, but you're not wrong.
I'm being 100% honest.
I can't say anything about that. I'm pretty bad about it. But anyway, what was I saying? There was something I was saying. Fuck, I don't even remember now. Oh, what year were you born?
Oh, 1990.
Oh, fucking A. Yeah, dude. That was like in the mid to early 80s that this drama with the Blame It on the Rain. It was Milli Vanilli was the band. It was two black dudes with like big long dreads. And it was like a hit song. I mean, we're talking like top 5 for like weeks and weeks. It was like a big hit song. And then it was a big scandal because it came out that they didn't even sing it. It was like a fucking totally.
I actually do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like they were fucking lip syncing like they sang it, but then when they performed, they lip sync because there was a lot of editing done. It was like two totally different fucking people that recorded it, and they were like totally. So yeah, it was a big old thing. But
the funny thing is, just looking back over this play-by-play in the Discord, that could apply to literally every single episode we've recorded.
Why is it like Taylor says Jeremy's a boomer? Jeremy calls Taylor a millennial. They argue about the woods and about something.
Yeah, like, the most recent is Taylor's talking about Jeremy being hard to keep on topic. Like he is literally just, that is our whole podcast. You don't even have to listen to the last 7 episodes.
Well, here's the thing. Like we said, there's a reason it's called Whiskey Knife Fight. And that's because there's whiskey involved, there's knives involved, and there's a constant fight for Taylor to try to keep me on topic. I mean, I'm just saying that's a real thing. I wonder if Chad ever, I saw Chad out here floating around. He's in the,
hey, it loaded for me.
He's in it. Did it?
Yeah, it loaded for me. Everybody refresh. See what's happening.
He says Honda generator for the win.
There we go. 70 people. It just jumped up. So I think YouTube's back.
Mine's not back. I'm still showing. Oh, 83, 78, 80. Oh, shit. I'm back, bitches. I'm back, motherfuckers.
There we go. Sweet.
87.
All right.
I mean, we're almost to, if it stays up, 91. Yeah, I think we're at least good enough that we can continue. 90 people, we can start to have a somewhat normal fucking situation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
30 minutes in.
I don't know if everybody in the chat is seeing. I'm in, finally in. Much appreciation to all you guys for hanging in and trying to refresh until you got in. You guys are fucking soldiers. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
And thank you, YouTube, for fixing your shit. Finally, it only took you 32 minutes. Well, an hour.
Yeah, I will say, YouTube, you're a little fucking slow on the draw there, buddy. But it went back down.
I'm at 106. We're going up, dude. It's okay.
Yeah, but mine went back down. Oh, it's back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're good. Well, appreciate everybody's. Hey, luckily for us, this one was not our fault. This was fucking YouTube's fault, and we'll own it. I'm a big fan of if you fuck up, you got to own it, right? Like I hate people that shuck blame when they fuck up, and they don't just say it was me. I fucked up. Just say you fucked up. Move on.
Everybody is blaming my taint fan, so it's not my taint fan. It's not my internet.
It wasn't a taint fan or his internet, although. Before we got on, he was putting in a thumb drive, and for some reason, every time he put in was it a thumb drive or was it a SD card?
Yeah, it was
every time he put in a thumb drive, it was freezing up the stream. He was trying to do some 3D printing, and it was not working.
Yeah, it kept breaking everything.
Which, I mean, was it the fact that you were plugging that in, or was it the fact that the 3D printer was plugged to that, so it was pulling all that stuff to do the 3D print?
No, I was going to put files on that flash drive and take it to the printer. The printer's not even plugged into anything. So did Taylor spill a Truly on his PC? Yes, that's what took all of YouTube down. Actually, I spilled a Truly.
Real quick, what the fuck is Truly? I know what it is. I know it's like a girl drink, but I mean, what is it technically considered? Like
hard seltzer,
malt beverage, hard seltzer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's
alcoholic carbonated water.
Yeah, so I mean, you don't really get any more bitchy than that, if I'm being honest. I mean,
yeah,
true. Yeah, that's the wine cooler of the 2020. I don't think they do wine.
No, it totally
anymore.
Is.
Yeah.
Oh, they do wine coolers.
Do they? Is that Bartles & James? Is that still a thing?
Oh, I don't know.
That was like the big wine coolers back in the 80s and stuff. Was like Bartles & James. They had the commercials. The two old guys, Bartles & James. Does anybody remember that shit? Am I the only one that's old?
Yes. Yes.
I just don't feel like I am. I think Chad's almost my age, isn't he?
Yeah.
Chad, how old are you, buddy? Chad, I think Chad's still in the chat.
Chad carries himself much more like a young person, whereas you are more like,
Eric Holiday says wine coolers are actually harder than Truly.
That's probably true. They're like 4, 5, 6%, something like that, and they don't taste alcoholic at all. They literally just taste like a Perrier or LaCroix or something.
Right. See, Chad's 37. Well, so I'm still about 5 years older than Chad, but he's approaching my age. Like he's within range. You're not even fucking within range. You're like a good 10, 12 years younger than me.
I'm 30.
See, Travis is 47. That's my boy right there. See?
46. Yeah.
See, I see 46 up there. Michael Gonzalez. All right.
I'm the baby. Okay.
See, there's some people. There's some people in their late 30s and early to mid 40s with me. That's my age range. I don't feel like. See, I'm feeling a little bit better. Feeling a little better about it.
They probably act a lot younger than you, though.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
A lot of these people that are saying they're in their 40s are in the Discord, and they're not mad about it.
I mean, I'm not mad about the fact that it's technology. I'm mad about the fact that it's usually a cesspit of people being bitches. Like that's what bothers me about it. Just a bunch of people in there acting like.
I think the realty here is that you're bitching about people being bitches because they're using a technology that you don't understand.
No. I understand it. I mean, it's just like a chat, right? I mean, it's no different than like any chat anywhere, pretty much, except for it's just called Discord. It's still just basically a chat. But I just find that a lot of chats, like we were talking about earlier, we'll repeat it for people that weren't in here and weren't able to see it. My opinion of Discords, and especially Reddit for the most part, while I know there are good Discord servers out there, for instance, Taylor's is usually pretty jovial, friendly kind of stuff.
When
and
there's
people,
when there's not severe drama going on.
right, but that's the thing. And you've even told me about a lot of drama that's gone on in the stuff that you had to kind of rectify. And I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about, man. All those things. It's just a bunch of people being assholes. Like I don't
gotta reel them in sometimes, you know?
Yeah. I mean, not always. Like I said,
play-
I'm sure there's good ones out there, but I've just found my experience a lot of times it's just a toxic fucking waste pit of people bitching. Like, and I ain't got time in my life for all that negativity and people whining and pissing about everything.
Because you spew enough negativity on your own, right?
When have you ever heard me be negative?
Mr. Negative Nancy,
When am I
naysayer.
negative? Nate. Oh, because I'm always trying to keep you from fucking getting into a bad situation because I'm a little older and wiser.
See, trying to play dad. We don't need that.
Well, I mean, let's
What are
be
you, like a
real.
Male Karen
technically-
over here?
Technically, I think I am old enough to be your dad. How many years difference is there between us? How old are you?
30.
Oh, you're no, I couldn't quite be your dad. Not quite. There's only
Thanks.
13 years between
All right.
us. I mean, you'd really have to be hitting it young to have a kid at 13.
I'm gonna stick
right,
with
so-
what I've been really enjoying lately.
You want to crank this bitch up? Crank this
Yeah.
bitch off? We're going to start with pocket dumps and all our normal stuff.
Yeah, starting 40 minutes in.
Segue into the topic so I can derail it 10 minutes later.
Yeah. Boom. I'm going to start it off with some old Forester statesmen. And guys, I have some breaking news here. Jeremy has to turn in his man card.
Why that?
What are you drinking tonight, Jeremy?
Oh yeah, I was going to tell everybody I'm not drinking whiskey tonight. I can't, man.
He has converted to Truly.
No, I'm drinking a Cortado or Cortada. Is it Cortada or Cortado? I think it's Cortado.
Cortado.
It's about a double shot, maybe 2.5 ounces of espresso and about an ounce and a half of steamed milk. I have to tonight, guys. I'm on antibiotic. I went to the doctor, had a little bit of a nasal sinus infection thing cranked up. And with all the Corona shit going on, last thing I need to be doing is being all fucking sick and everybody thinking I got the Rona. So he gave me an antibiotic. So I'm on antibiotic, and you're not really supposed to drink alcohol when you're on antibiotic because it makes the antibiotic less effective. And
that's what he's saying, guys. But we both know, we all know, not both, we all know the truth.
Yeah, buddy, I ain't fucking risking it, bro. Plus,
he is a Truly convert, and he can't show that on live stream.
Oh, dude, that's a fucking coffee. You can see it in there. Hold on, wait. Can you see it? I don't want to turn it too much because say coffee.
Hey, it could
Truly
be one of those.
brown?
Could be one of those alcoholic coffee beverages, like a White Russian.
I mean, let's be honest. White Russians are pretty fucking delicious.
White Russians are. Can I tell you? So back when I first started getting into coffee, because before I'd say 2012, I hated coffee. Thought it was disgusting.
Really?
And
yeah,
I hated it.
Bougie ass bro state coffee. Hated coffee.
Hated coffee. And
crazy.
Well, I was forced to drink it as a kid. My dad made me try it, and it made me throw up because his was disgusting. It was Maxwell House.
Dude, what's with parents and making shitty coffee? My parents do the same thing. They make horrible coffee.
Well, anyway, I started going to this coffee shop. I started drinking coffee and getting into it and liking it. And all of a sudden, I go in there. It's like 7 a.m, sit down, and the coffee shop owner, I would spend like 16 hours a day at this place. This was before I had an office, and I had just started working online. Dude, I'd go in there in the morning, and I'd stay till close. And I sit down, 7 a.m., ask for a drink.
Uh-oh. No.
What is this? And he's like, oh, it's a White Russian. I'm like, oh, it's a White Russian. It's also 7 a.m. What are you doing to me? Like, you can't just feed somebody alcohol in the morning and not tell him. And
right. No,
dude, they were trying to introduce alcohol, and he was testing a bunch of recipes, and I'm like, dude, 7 a.m. Can't be doing that at 7 a.m. And
well, I
later
say,
that
and
night,
people might.
later that night, I'm finishing up work, and he's like, "Here, try this." Hands me a fucking Portland coffee, which is like 3 different alcohols in that shit, dude. It was so strong. I'm like, I'm gonna have to sit here for like an hour before I can go home. What the hell?
Can I say, and people might be like, you got to turn in your man card, but again, I made them, so I'm not turning in shit. Um, I don't like alcohol real early in the morning. I just don't. I prefer coffee. I'm a coffee guy. I don't really want like a Irish coffee. I don't want any of that stuff. My system just doesn't appreciate alcohol super early in the morning. It wants caffeine, 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 caffeine. I don't switch over to any kind of booze or any beer, anything till, I mean, it depends on what's going on. Obviously, if we're like, having a get together or grill out on the weekends or something, you might start a little early. But I mean, generally speaking, like 1 or 2, 3 in the afternoon before I even begin to want any kind of alcoholic beverage. I normally like to drink coffee. Coffee. I want that caffeine, baby.
I mean, it's 8:40, almost 9 p.m., and I've got some coffee here just that I brought in because I was sleepy. I was at home early before I came here, and I was dozing, so I had to wake up. But so you're drinking a Cortado. Somebody asked. I'm drinking Old Forester Statesman
with one of my favorite, easy to deal with. If you want an easy coffee to work with that doesn't go stale really quick because it's purposely roasted and blended and stuff to be very shelf stable and hold quality for quite a long time, it's Lavazza Super Crema. It's an Italian roast, like espresso roast kind of coffee. And man, that stuff is great for a long time shelf stay. It's not like one of these ones you get on fresh off roast. Within a few weeks, it's really lost a lot of its shit. This stuff holds it. It's really good. And it's super easy to work with. Like, it's not one of those things that if you pull a shot and your shot's not dialed in just perfect, it goes super bitter or super sour. It's actually a pretty easy to work with espresso. It's beautiful stuff.
All right.
And
what is on the wrist? It looks like the old Seiko.
The old Seiko, man.
Old Seiko. You're predictable.
I was going to put on the old,
never see the glycine anymore.
Yeah, well, I do. I'm going to be honest. I've been on a bit of a bracelet kick where like the leather hasn't just in the summer, the leather gets hot and it sticks and it's a little weird. And like, I'm kind of been off the leather for a while. So I've been enjoying the bracelets. I still say the other watch is coming soon. So I will have a third one.
So?
Yeah, dude, it's coming. I can feel it. I even found a store locally that carries a shit ton of them. So it'll be kicking here soon.
I have broke out the old Laurier Gemini, which I haven't worn.
Panda.
I haven't worn this thing in a long time, but this one hand wind chronograph, and I love this watch. I just don't wear it enough.
The old Panda.
All right, and I wanted to do knives last because that's kind of what we're talking about today. And what you got?
Same knife, man. It's been in my pocket since I got it. I love it. We talked about it last week. I really have been enjoying this knife. Although I brought a couple other knives up just for reference because we are talking about knives tonight. But we were talking about it a little bit before everybody was in here. I've decided that I think this is my new favorite shape for an EDC knife. I think this shape is very utilitarian. This point is great for opening boxes and just basic EDC tasks, little detail work. It's got a nice big blade. You can really pinch grip it. Like when you're opening boxes and stuff, you can ride your finger so you don't cut too deep into the box and cut whatever you're, if you go just stabbing into a box and ripping through it, you've cut half of whatever's in the box in half. You can kind of hold your finger on the tip that controls the depth of the blade. And I don't know, man, I'm a big fan of this knife. I've been carrying it for a while now.
You're going to accuse me of shitting on you, but,
you do that every.
Got the old Shirogorov F95 RT.
Yep.
Just a beaut of a knife. No Norseman right now.
Yeah. I mean, you don't.
Just look at that. Every time.
Yeah. Mine doesn't do that.
And I don't care so much about drop shut, but it is fidgety when something will drop shut like this.
I just think that's a sexy looking knife, though. I think the dark green micarta with the black blade, I just fucking dig it, though, man. I don't know. I know you
This
said
is
this is a problem for you, but I don't know.
this is something that's been in my pocket a whole lot lately, though. And I think this right here is probably one of the most utilitarian knives out there, especially for food prep. Like,
That's a chef, right?
yeah, Spidey Chef.
Didn't
I
they have
mean,
one that
it's
looked kinda like that they called like a Shamu or some shit? Or or is
no.
that just like a nickname some people say for that knife because it kind of looks like a fucking whale?
Nope. Everybody calls it the Chef.
Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm cray cray.
I think so. But the topic for tonight, which we're getting started a little late now because of technical difficulties, but
True.
I don't know what I titled this. The most you should spend on a knife. And my thought process behind that is I've been asked that question a lot. What is the most you should spend on a knife? And I wanted to talk about this because I do want to do a video on this. I will dedicate a video to this on my channel, Best Aim EDC, and maybe you will too, Jeremy. I don't know, but I wanted to have like a discussion about it, and then later on in a few weeks or a month or whatever, really just kind of hone in on how I feel about it and give a more concise answer. But I think there's both a discussion that can be had and me give my own opinion. Yeah.
I do say, even though I think there's plenty of valid opinions on the matter, I don't know that there is a answer for everybody, right? Because it's going to be very relative to your income, your knife budget. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's lots of guys out there that don't think twice about dropping $600 on a Sabenza, right? Like, that's probably like perfectly doesn't phase them one bit. The same guys that buy Speedies and Rolexes and stuff and don't bat an eye. I'm sure they'll buy a $600-700 knife and think that's just normal. Where for a lot of people, that's like fucking really excessive.
Right. And this is coming from, like, this whole conversation between us is coming from someone who you have never spent more than probably $350 on a knife.
350. Yeah, somewhere around there.
And I have like the one I'm carrying right now. This is an $1,100 knife. I did not spend $1,100 on it, but I've spent $1,000 on a knife. I have 7 or 8 that are 500-ish. Like, I've got some expensive knives, and I have some budget knives too. Like, it's right here. This would technically be a pretty fairly budget-friendly knife. $80.
Well, and
80 something.
That's part of my argument, right? Is it's like you've really got to like a knife to go over that amount, because somewhere in the like 150 or a little over 1 to like the $300 mark, or maybe even a little less than 3, maybe the 250 mark, you have a lot of really quality blades in that price range. So for you to go over that, you're really getting severe law of diminishing returns kicking in, right? You're getting a 3% better knife for 3 times the price of the blade, right?
Well, I would say that argument could be made for even much cheaper knives, right? Well, no, like, if you look back just 5 years ago, right, there was not a whole lot under 50 that I would say was great. You had like a Tenacious, Ontario Rat. You have your classics, ones that are staples that are always there.
I'm sorry, I hate that knife. It's the ugliest fucking knife known to man.
The Ontario Rat.
God, I hate that knife. I know it's a great knife for the money, and it's good quality for the money. It's durable, but God, it's an ugly knife. It's a weird bump. I just do not dig the way that knife looks at all. And I know it's hugely popular. It's not for me. Not for me, man.
Right. But like the point is your budget knives have gotten way, way, way better in the last 5 years. Just 5 years.
Well, you're seeing blade steel that used to be in super high-end knives in much cheaper knives also, right?
Well, yeah, this is a perfect example. This right here is $100 if you can find them. I think they're all out of stock everywhere. I think this is a mass drop knife, but this is the Ferrum Forge Falcon, made by We Knife. It's on bearings. It is a titanium frame lock flipper with a thumb hole. It has S35 VN steel. Like, this has all the specs that you would see on a knife to $300, and it's $100. And it's really good. Like, really good. It is a polarizing shape. What?
I've heard you talk about that knife several times. You're a fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a polarizing shape. It's a little aggressive.
Mall Ninja.
It is not Mall Ninja. It's just aggressive. Says the guy who likes the cleaver with all the speed holes in it.
Mall Ninja. All I'm saying is you call that knife Mall Ninja and you're say that's not. Look, I don't have a big problem with Mall Ninja. I say if you like it, fuck what everybody says. If you like it, you like it. Rock a mermaid if you want to. But I mean that's definitely a little Mall Ninja-y.
I wouldn't say that. I just think it's an aggressive design is what I would
Little
call it.
Blade Runner.
But it $100, man. Like you couldn't find a knife like this for $100 just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's a recent thing, a very recent thing for this race to the bottom where you have the Civivi Elementum, but there's even better knives. I would say I wouldn't necessarily say better knives, but knives that are approximately as good for even less, like the Honey Badger that comes in D2 steel, and it's around $50 for the D2 version.
Best name ever, by the way.
It's a great knife. It's a great. I haven't owned one.
Out with a better version of the Elementum that had like micarta handles and a better steel for like still under 100?
For what knives?
Am I imagining that?
For what knife?
Did they come out with a element with a better steel that was like a little more expensive, but still like around $80?
Yeah, it's the Elementum with S35 VN. It's
right.
$80.
And they got like micarta scales, right?
Yeah, I got one right here. Because of course I do.
Come on. S30V micarta scales and a really good knife with a crazy smooth action for sub 100. Get the fuck out of here. Like that wouldn't have existed over a year ago.
Oh, right here. S35 VN micarta bearing flipper.
I mean,
liner lock, deep carry
that
clip.
would have been what? Easy 150, 200 a year or two ago for those materials. I mean, shit, there's still knives in that price range with those materials, right? But like, you certainly wouldn't have gotten anything with all that for that price a couple years ago.
No, and you also have, companies that are still, like James Brand, who are fashion brands, I'd say, who aren't necessarily knife enthusiasts, who make knives that are very design forward with, VG tin steel, and they're $150, which is just kind of odd.
Now,
it's very, very odd.
Something I want to add to this conversation is, and I think you've actually said this also. So this is not in contradiction to any opinions that you have. I don't think. If so, you can obviously state your case. I am not a huge steel snob, right? Like I enjoy a good steel. If a knife gives you a higher quality steel at a good price point, I think that's a great perk. But I'm also not one of these people that if it's not some crazy super steel or some high end steel, I'm like, well, that knife's garbage. I mean,
yeah, it's so funny you say that, because the knives or NAFs channel in my Discord server has become just everything is super high end. Everything is super steels and customs and just all super high end knives all the time. And I think it's a little maybe off putting for people who are just getting started or who have, a budget and they can't spend $700 on a custom or $1,000 on something like a Shirogorov. But yeah, it's just crazy how wide the spread of just really high quality knives is now. It's a very wide spread.
Well, and knife steel, to me, everybody who gets these super steels goes on and on about it'll hold an edge for fucking, X amount of time and And I'm like, yeah, but have you tried to sharpen it? Because once it does hold an edge, fantastic. But most of those steels that hold an edge for a really long time, once they do go dull, you're going to go through $300 in sharpening stones trying to get the edge back on that sumbitch, because it's very, very hard to sharpen. Where you get one of these steels that a lot of people call garbage steels, like the what is it? I always fuck up the initials.
8CR. 8CR 13, 14 MOV. There's a bunch of different ones.
Which a lot of people call garbage steel, but you know what? It holds an edge relatively well. It's relatively rust resistant. It doesn't chip because I think it's a little bit of a softer steel. So I've never chipped out one of those very bad. And it sharpens so fucking easy. I can have a hair popping edge back on one of those blades within 10 minutes. Where you get one of these super steels and I'm over there fucking breaking a sweat and I can't get it to sharpen back up. So look,
I have my other Shirogorov. It came and it was sharp, but I was trying to fix the person I bought it from, or the person they bought it from had sharpened it, and it was like a variable bevel, right? So it started at one depth and then it got towards the tip, and it was definitely not the same bevel angle. And it wasn't just the stock thickening up. It was a different angle.
Right.
And I tried to fix it, and I noticed that when I was fixing it, it was, the reason I say that is because I sharpened it at like 20 degrees, and that bevel was constant all the way up the blade until you got to the tip, and the old bevel was past what I was sharpening at. So
Right.
I had to widen it to 17. And dude, I put it on my KME, and I worked at it and worked at it and worked at it and worked. I bet I've sharpened, or I'm technically reprofiling at this point, but I've been working on it for a collective like 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
I'm not even joking. Like, I'm 4 or 5 hours into it, and I get so bored. I'm like, okay, I've got to go do something else. I can't do this anymore right now. So I have left lines, like reference lines, for how I had it in the clamp. And every time I put it back in the clamp to get it back on there, I will use a Sharpie on the bevel and run the stone down it and see where I'm hitting it. And then I'll adjust it, tighten it down, and then go back to it. And man, I've just been going at it and going at it and going at it. And even my hinderer, which my XM18 and 3.5 inch is 01 tool steel. And dude, it's hard as a fucking rock. Hard as a rock. So hard to get sharp.
Well, and look, I'm not against super steels, right? I'm not talking shit on super steels. There's a reason that the market's moving that way, and they put all this effort into developing these. They're fine, right? This one has LMAX in it. This Microtech, it's got LMAX, which I'm pretty sure is considered a super steel, right? And it's great. My only point is people who put too much emphasis on only, oh, I can't buy that knife, it has, 8CR30 in it. Like, I just don't know that that's a well-rounded approach, right? Like, I think there's a place for all that stuff. And
yeah, I'm perfectly fine with S30V, S35VN. A lot of people, especially in the Discord, don't like M390 because without the proper heat treat, it's not great. It's a very soft, it can be very bad if it's not heat treated properly, but also it's very chippy. And I'm just like, the problem with me is if I get an M390 blade and I chip it, it's going to take a fucking long time to fix that chip. That's really the only issue I have. So my point is, I don't necessarily care if it's S35, M390, or whatever. I'm happy as long as I can put an edge on it and it cuts. That's really my stance on that. My biggest problem, yeah, for a decent amount of time, but I don't mind sharpening. But my biggest problem, time and time again, always my biggest problem, I'll show you right here. This is a knife that I overpaid for. I won't tell you how much I paid, but I paid way too much for it. And this right here, let's zoom in a little bit. Probably won't be able to see it. Yeah, you can't see it. Yeah, this is the Richard Rogers OEM Slut. You can't see it in here because I've mostly gotten it taken off.
I don't watch your videos. I watch them. I know you called that a slut.
I rusted it. I fucking rusted
here's
it.
The thing, though. Whoa. I got to interrupt. You rusting something is no bearing on the steel. You could rust anything.
Hey, there are two on the table here.
You could rust one of those Spyderco. What are they? They're called like Oceans, or what are the Spydercos called?
Salt. Well, this is LC200N, and this is Vanex, and I've yet to rust either of these. If I rust these, I give up. I should just not ever have another knife again. These are basically almost corrosion resistant. Like they're extremely corrosion resistant, but these are both rated for use in salt water, kind of like the H1 or Salt series from Spyderco. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure LC200N and Vanex are better, harder, and whatnot. Again, I'm not a blade steel snob. I can't tell you everything about it. Yeah, I don't care a lot of the time. I just don't.
One of my favorite steels is either S30V or isn't S30VN a little different than normal S30V? Isn't there a V and a VN?
S35VN and S30V. Right. They're very similar, but they are different.
Both of those, I think, are great. They're not crazy expensive. You're not getting into your like super steel prices with all this crazy stuff, but they're also not like bottom rung, 8CR30 stuff. I have a ton of knives that have it, and it's some of my favorite steel. It's a little harder and a little more durable than some of this, less expensive stuff, but it's also not up in that super steel category where you got to like wear yourself out to sharpen it. That's some of my favorite stuff. It's kind of in that middle zone.
A lot of people are starting to use 20 CV. I've noticed. I don't really know where that lands in terms of blade steels. I'm thinking that it's probably a notch above. If I were to guess, a notch above M390. I don't know for sure, but I've got several knives that are CPM 154. I've got so many blade steels, and I
think I have some CPM 154, and that Rex 45, I think it was called, and that Spyderco they put out has worked out pretty good. I've been enjoying that. That's
you got to be careful with that one because that's not corrosion resistant. It's not a stainless steel. It'll rust.
I haven't had any problems. Patina. I'm sure somebody has. I'm surprised nobody said it yet. Like, wow, dude. I'm surprised nobody. Patina. Where's the triple Lindy?
Patina. God damn.
I like the fact that you have like this delayed one at the very end. It's like patina. But yeah, okay. Well, so to stay on topic, because I'm trying to stay on topic for at least a little while tonight.
Yeah.
My point of going into the steel conversation, which I know isn't exactly on topic, but it's related, right? Is that, in my opinion, that 150 to maybe 250 is really all you ever need to spend. Technically, not even. I shouldn't even say need, because you can buy great knives under 100, but really the 150 to 250 range, in my opinion, is the most people would ever need to spend to get a super good quality, really great knife.
Well, yeah, that's what I think we were pointing out earlier is like when you have something like this for $100 and it's not the only one that's this good at $100.
Right.
It is really difficult to justify, $300, $400, $500 for a knife, other than the fact that you just want it, or you want something that's made in America with a great warranty. Yeah, but are you really getting your value at that point, or are you just? I mean, the difference is at $100, you can thrash this thing, and it's going to hold up, but you're not going to cry if you break it. You probably won't feel too good. But if you do the same thing to a $450 Sabenza, you're probably not going to feel the same about it. That's just my guess.
I've said it a million times. One of my favorite knives ever made to this point in history, right? And what are these? I mean, depending on how you get them tricked out, but I mean, for the most part, you get one of these for what, 150 less, 125?
I think they've gone up to 150, 160.
So you can get a PM2, which is a great knife, a PM3, relatively the same price. Bug out, I still argue one of the best. It's mine sitting right over there. I didn't bring it over here because there's no point, but I mean, it's right over there. That's a sub $200 knife. That's a 120, 150-ish, right? Same price point. I mean, there's just so many great knives in those ranges that I agree 100%, man. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with spending big money on a knife. If it's your hobby and you enjoy it, sure, fucking spend whatever you want. But I don't think there's any need to spend more than that, unless it's just because you want the pocket bling and you want the kind of flex factor, right? You're not getting that much more in a knife for that much more to be able to rationalize the cost for other than you want some pocket jewelry.
Well, I think after a certain point, it I would say kind of tiptoes over into the watch category where you're appreciating the art and the artisanship and the machining that goes into it. But there's very little to truly deep down justify a $1,000 knife or $2,000 knife or even like a $600 knife. I mean, it gets really tough unless you're talking about, again, something like this right here, which is got tape all over it because this is what I use to open boxes now. But something like this, which was handmade, that makes it a very different story because you're supporting someone who does this by hand. That is a very different story. But again, you're not getting $700 worth out of this. Really, you can get a knife that's, I would say, just as good, but will do the job just as well for $650 less.
Right. And that's what I was saying. There's nothing wrong with spending that on a knife. And I think it's great to support these smaller makers, these guys that are hand making these things and it's their passion and stuff. And that's fantastic. And it's great. And if that's your thing, but again, just to, the whole point was like, how much do you really need to spend? I'd say 250 is the most you ever really need to spend on a knife, unless again, you're going into that more wanting it for the bling factor and to support a small maker and appreciating the artistship. Is that a word? Artistship?
Artisanship.
Artisanship? Is that a fucking word? I don't even know.
Yeah, it is. It's a word, Jeremy.
And don't get me wrong, I think that's great to do that. I'm a big fan of supporting small business and these smaller makers. That's the reason I have a lot of the guys on my channel, like, Das Affinimir, now Open Seas. It's one of the main reasons I had him. I like, getting the name of these smaller makers out here because I just appreciate, guys that have some drive and initiative to go out there and start their own thing up. But yeah, I still say 250 is like all you would ever need to spend to get a super high quality, really great knife. Probably less than that, honestly.
I do think there is something to be said for one of these, and you still don't have one, so it's hard for you to really know what it's like.
Well, I will say, and just not to interrupt.
This is a Sabinza. For those of you listening to the audio only, this is a Sabinza that I'm holding right now.
I will say that I never have one. You're right. I have not, although I do plan on getting one. I will say that after I watched Blade HQ did a little thing where they were going to knife makers and watching their process and stuff. And after I watched the one they did at Sabinza's place, Chris Reeves' place, Sabinza, like he's a person. Chris Reeves, I understood why they're the cost that they are. He puts an insane amount of effort into making those knives perfect. He does all kinds of steps that most knife companies don't to get them within. Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. Right.
Right. Like you can, I've said this before and some people don't believe me, or maybe it's not true for them, but I've tried it myself. You can loosen this pivot screw, loosen it. Like it's loose. It's not what's holding it together. And there's no blade play.
Right.
Like there's a reason that it's so good. That the reason for that is the bushing. There's a bushing in here, which most knives, I don't think any other knife on the table or any of the other knife in my collection, other than the other Sabinza, I don't think it has that bushing. So there's a bigger hole cut into the blade, right? And then there is a bushing that pushes up against your washers. And that bushing is pinched between your scales. So your pivot screw, literally all it's doing is holding this together. But if you take it out, there's still pressure on these scales, keeping that bushing straight, and the blade cannot move. Yeah. It's a very clever design, and it removes a lot of that play from the pivot. And this thing is, every single one I've ever held, rock solid.
Well, in the tolerances he holds his people and his company and his knives to is way, way tighter tolerances than most knife companies. I mean, it was going over like how he, like, I don't know the name for it, but it's when you basically take a piece of metal and you like grind it to make sure it's perfectly fucking flat and there's no
planing.
bow or, huh?
Is it planing? There's planing, and then there's I should know this because Sky's talked to me about it. That's what he used to do for.
If I heard it, I recognize it. But anyway, the point is, you're talking like aircraft specs shit that, you know what I mean, like that is not necessary for a pocket knife that he puts into his knives. Facing, Chad to say, I think that is what it's called.
Lapping. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Lapping is what I was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, so he makes sure that blade steel is just fucking bang on, right? And it's just stuff like that. I mean, I get it. I get why he charges what he does for his knives. They're all checked, polished, sharp. I mean, there's a lot goes into them.
It's the exact same thing you're going to get out of this right here. And I'd say that
looks like an alligator to me.
I'd say that this thing is even better. It's definitely polarizing. Like, this blade shape is very unique. It's not one that it's got its limitations, right? It's very, very purpose driven. You're not going to be using this for food prep at all, but for hard use, like scraping stuff, cutting boxes open and breaking shit down. Hell, even prying, because this tip is thick. I'm not going to be able to focus on that thin point, but
you like a thick tip, don't you, Taylor?
Oh yeah, love it.
Sorry, I had to. I had to go 14-year-old. Had to do it. Somebody, everybody saying lapping. Somebody said LARPing.
Yes, LARPing. That's what sets it apart. But then again, you're talking about this right here. I think is $450 new. A large Sabenza. This is a 21, but a large Sabenza 31 is about $450 new. And then you're doubling that for this knife right here, which is the Grimsmo Norseman. So it's $990.
Right. And is it really double the quality? Probably not even better quality. It's probably about the same, give or degree, a couple degrees, right?
I'd say it's better quality, but not in an easily quantifiable way. Right. Like the finishing on this is definitely better. This thing is very.
Well, I mean, he hand makes all the hardware and everything, right? So
yeah, everything is in house. I mean, that's probably true of Chris Reeve too. But I don't know. Just the level of finishing on this is just it's unreal, to be honest.
So you get into that thing, and this applies to so many areas of hobbies and different things, right? You get into that, and we've talked about it many times, is that law of diminishing returns, right? Lots of people talk about it in the camera gear realm, because cameras, you have a serious law of diminishing returns, right? Like once you get to like a $2,000 or $3,000 camera, you're 99.5% of the image you're going to get with a $10,000 camera. So you're doubling or tripling your price for like 0.5% of increase in image quality, right?
I would say that's true unless you're talking video. Video is a different beast, because you're not talking about still photography. You're talking about moving pictures and
even with video, you got cameras like this fucking Sony that I just got, that's got, 10-bit 422 codecs and stuff, which isn't that far off by the time you shoot it in S-Log3. It's not that far off from the cinema cameras that film in RAW.
Well, right? I mean, specifically in terms of low light is where you get the biggest benefit as you jump up.
With these new cameras, that's not necessarily the case, because
that's true now, but 5 years ago.
Right. Now, 5 years ago, it's totally different beast. Like now, these have full frame sensors, and with S-Log3, crazy low light, where a lot of the cinema camera, what is it, a Super 35 sensor or whatever, which is actually a smaller sensor. It's got more dynamic range. But anyway, that'll get boring with people real quick. But point is, there's this law of diminishing returns, and it applies very much so with knives. You spend double or triple the price of a knife, and you might get a 1% better knife, right? Where when you jump from like a $25, what the fuck is that one that's like one of the most popular knives? Everybody had one at some point. They sell them at Walmart. It's like a skeletonized
Gerber paraframe.
Yeah, Gerber paraframe. When you jump from a Gerber paraframe to like, an Elementum, there's a huge fucking jump in quality there for not quadruple the price. But then you jump from that to a $900, Grismo or whatever, and
Grismo.
Isn't that like a Honda sport thing, Grismo? I think that's for like cars. Yeah. So anyway, that's my rant on.
So the thing is, this kind of goes back to the video I made recently, which is the one and done knife. What would be the one and done knife? And the thing is, I would recommend, I think in my video, at least I said, if I could only have one, it would probably be this one out of all the knives I have. Even now that I've got a few more, this Norseman and stuff, I would still go with just a Sabenza if I can only have one. And I think it is kind of beyond the point of diminishing returns to a degree, but at the same time, if you can only have one, I would say it's worth it to save up just a little bit more and get something like a Sabenza, because I think this is going to last you a little bit longer. I think it being made to the spec that this one is going to be worth that investment. I don't think it's, necessarily worth it to everyone, but if you can only have one, dude, I would honestly recommend just finding one on the used market and getting it for $300. And at that point, it's kind of a no-brainer.
I would agree with you. My only, and this isn't to be in direct contradiction of what you're saying, but to me, this is almost a perfect knife.
Yeah, I agree. The PM2 is fantastic.
I mean, it has a good action. I love the Spidey flick. I love the blade shape. I love the materials that are in it. it's relatively inexpensive. So if you did bomb one out or break it, you could always you could buy like 3 of these for the price. You could buy one of those for, I mean, and I've had some of these for years. So I do agree though that the Sabenza is definitely in there, but like in my opinion, what the hell, something like this would be absolutely glorious, right? Should have silenced my phone before the podcast, but ding. If this was Joe Rogan's podcast, he'd be like, "Can you turn that shit off?" Have you ever seen how angry he gets when somebody's phone goes off on the podcast? It's so funny.
But I recently saw a video of, it was like a compilation from his
Hold on. I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry, Taylor. I just totally derailed you, but I know I'm not supposed to be reading comments, but I can't believe the comment I just saw. Travis, my man, what do you mean you don't like the lock on a PM2? It's one of the best locks ever invented. I know we're not supposed to be reading comments, but that one, I couldn't not address that. The compression,
I don't think you can make it through a podcast without saying that. Compression lock is pretty good.
Dude, it's fucking great.
Can I just say that my problem with the Spydercos, especially the PM2s and even this PM3, this is a Para 3 lightweight that I have in my hand right now. The problem I have, this one does not have blade play at all, but it is extremely off center, and that's just kind of the name of the game with the Para 3 lightweights. They only have one liner.
Travis, by the way. Hey, Travis said sorry. I was telling Travis, I love you still, brother. It's okay.
The problem with the Para 3 lightweight is that there's only one liner and there's only one washer, and the other side is against just plastic, and it's never centered. Like every single one of them is off center. But with the PM2s, I've had 4 PM2s now, and every single one of them has just the tiniest bit of blade play. Every single one of them. You can tighten the pivot screw down all the way, and it either gets way too tight that you can't move the blade, or there's blade play. Every single one I've had.
Mine doesn't have any.
Yeah, everyone I've had has it. And that's not the end of the world. It's just after you go to something like this, which is built to a different spec.
Right.
Yeah, it's just built to a different spec. You go back to something like the PM2, and if it has blade play, you're like, I liked this other one a little bit better. You know, like it's hard for me to go back. And I get some flack for it now because I'm apparently the bougie. Somebody called me a bougie boss earlier in the comments. Like it's hard. It is hard to go back, but I think it should speak to, it should be a testament to the quality of something like the Elementum, because I carry this knife regularly, even though it's a $80 knife. I love this knife, and it's a stupid amount of quality for the price. But yeah, it's just it's so funny because I'm doing a $100 like best knife under $100 video, and Jeremy pitched in with a knife, which, spoiler, Jeremy's pick was the old sheepdog, Vanguard sheepdog.
It was a bit of a debacle, the knife pick and how that all panned out, but we got to it at the end anyway.
Zach from Blade HQ picked a knife, and then I had the community pick, I think, 2 or 3 knives. I bought all those. I bought my picks. Jeremy sent his. Zach sent his. But the Civivi Elementum, I told everybody, I was like, you can't choose the Elementum because it's a given. Everybody wants it as their pick. So
yeah, it was on my gift guide for Christmas last year. It's just a great knife. I mean,
right. So like when I'm making this video, I'm going to have to say the community chose these. Jeremy chose this. I chose these. Zach chose this. And then the given knife, like is the Elementum, because everybody would have picked the Elementum if they had only one choice.
I mean, bang for buck, I honestly, it's a little smaller. I wish they would come out with like a Elementum large.
There's a slightly larger knife that's very similar to it, and there's a Wii knife. I mean, same company, but there's a Wii knife that looks very, very similar to the Elementum, but it is just a hair larger. But I mean, one of my favorite knives in my collection, and I don't carry it because I fucked it up when I was a little tipsy one night and really, really did a number on the scales. It shouldn't be a problem, but I want to fix it, and I haven't carried it since. But I mean, the Elementum and the Chamois are effectively the same size. I think this is the perfect size for EDC. For me,
I like a little bigger personally.
I can get full 4-finger grip on it. Same with the Elementum, full 4-finger grip, and what's
the blade on an Elementum? 3.25,
something like that. It's close to 3, a little over.
I like close to a 4 for a. I don't need no big 5-6 inch crazy, but like 3.75 to 4-inch blade I prefer, which I think is about what a PM2 is, right? Like I prefer that size because, you know, what's the word people use? You can do everything with a big knife that you can with a little, but you can't do everything with a little knife that you can with a big one, right? Like I just feel like sometimes little knives are a little small for the job I'm trying to accomplish with it, where something just slightly bigger tends to be more universally helpful.
The only thing I think I've ever come into like a problem with a short knife or a small knife with is food prep.
Yeah, because
That's
you're
really about it.
right.
Yeah,
You try to
that's
cut an
about it.
apple and like you're only like halfway through it. You're out of blade. You're like, oh, that kind of fucking sucks. I got to cut it from both sides. Like,
Yeah, I think
man,
that's really the only time I've come into like run into an issue with a small knife is food prep. To be
I just
completely honest,
like a slightly larger EDC knife. Like, really, a bug out is about minimum EDC knife for preference for me, right?
dude,
It's
I
kind of why
almost sold my bug out.
dude, get the fuck out of here, dude. That's
Dude,
another.
I don't like it.
How can you not like a bug out, dude?
It's just
That's like
for me, it's bland. I have a titanium bug out with extremely rare scales now, and I just
how do you call that bland and you don't have a problem with the Elementum? That's like the blandest fucking knife ever. It's bland. I like it, but it's a very plain knife. I mean, there's nothing.
yeah, but it's at least got something going for it in that it's a great value. The bug out is not a bad value, but I don't know if you don't customize the bug out. If you get the bug out with, well, now I guess they have an updated version with stronger scales, but the original bug out for me was just kind of, I liked it at first, but dude, that honeymoon period ended and does nothing for me now.
I love bug out to this day, man. I think it's almost the perfect EDC knife in my opinion. Size, weight, clip. It's got that little bitty small deep carry pocket clip. I mean, I just think it's a banging knife. I love the action on it. It's good with S30V, right? I don't know. I just think it's between it's real hard for me to pick what, like if I had to pick like two of my all-time favorite EDC knives, it would be real tough for me to pick between a PM2 and a bug out. Those are probably two of my favorite currently. Love them. I think they're great knives personally. I can't believe you don't like a bug out, man. Jesus, it hurts my feelings a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all right. It hurt Zach's feelings when I said that. I did a video with Blade HQ, a live stream, and yeah, I said I didn't like the bug out, and he was a little taken aback, but because everybody at Blade HQ crushes on it so hard, but yeah, it's just like,
yeah, I don't know, man. It's such a it's kind of like the Elementum in the fact that it has such a large group of people that just really loves that knife. I always get surprised when I hear somebody say they don't like a PM2 or they don't like a bug out or they don't like an Elementum. I'm always like, huh? Like, what do you mean? Like there's nothing to complain about in any of those knives.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can I talk about the ergonomics of a PM2? Come on.
Now that is the best part of the PM2, in my opinion, is it's great. It's I don't think I don't want to say there's not a knife with better ergos, because I think the closest thing to it, if not better, is a Hinderer, which you don't have experience with. But
here's the thing: it's probably not better. It's probably just as good, though, right? It's probably not better.
It's hard to get better than pretty much perfect.
It's hard to get better than
keyboards
hand like a fucking glove. Like it's hard, right? Like, and they do jimping just right on this knife. Like nothing irritates me more than useless fucking jimping. Like if you're gonna jimp a knife, make it grippy, right? Don't make this half-ass fucking shit that's there for looks. Like that bites into the meat of your thumb, dude. Your thumb is not gonna slip off that. Like that jimping digs into your meat. Digs into your meat.
Damn, Jeremy. Do you want to see my PM2s? I actually only have two PM2s now. I got rid of
only got
the other.
two. That's just like, oh no, that's not. That's got those cool scales that rip scratch deck. Send those to you.
So there's a little bit of blade play here, and I don't know if this. So I did something. I don't know if I should have, but this is the Rex 45 blade on a regular PM2, and that came from the linerless copper. So I have my acid etched blade on the linerless copper knife.
The acid etch does look good on the copper knife.
And it also has a tiny bit of blade play, so I think I'm gonna have to switch the blades back, unfortunately. But
because I don't think that knife was meant for. Because doesn't it not have? I forgot.
Doesn't have liners.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't have liners, right? It says rubbing right on.
Hey, look at that though. God. But that pivot's totally tightened. I cannot tighten it anymore. It is at 100% tight.
I mean,
So,
it's kind of awesome, really.
yeah.
I mean,
But you're talking about the Hinder, this right here, like the ergos on this again.
yeah, that's
Just
great also.
yeah. I mean, it just
And Jasper has some really great, like the Pilar or Pilar. Like that's a pretty hard to
so
beat the ergos on that knife. So there's other knives out there that I would say are as good. I just don't know that there's a knife out there that I've ever felt that is better, right? Like,
yeah.
it's hard to beat perfect.
It's so funny though, because I love this knife. This is from Jesper as well. This is the
Jesper or Jasper?
Jesper.
Jesper Voxnez, right? Is that how you say?
Yeah, this is the Giant Mouse Ace Grand, and it's so funny because his one big thing is ergos. Like he crushes ergos in every single design, but the ergos on this knife are just not right. It's like a block in your hand.
I also feel like it's a little bigger than normal for him, right? Like,
but the jimping, the jimping is not here. It's here. And maybe it's for this, but that's a weird grip. I don't know what the jimping is here for. Like they've got the small fixed blade, the GMF1, and it's got jimping. It's a sheep's foot, but it's got jimping up here. So when you grip it forward,
what's the name of that knife?
The Giant Mouse Ace Grand.
Giant Mouse Ace Grand.
Yeah, good luck getting one. They did not make many.
But is that different than the normal Giant Mouse?
What do you mean?
Am I mixing something up? Isn't there one just called a normal Giant Mouse?
Giant Mouse is the brand.
Oh,
and then Ace means production. Giant Mouse Ace means it's a production knife. And then the Grand, there's the Biblio.
Biblio is the one I have. That's the one.
Clyde. They've got a bunch of different designs. Here's the bug out that I said I don't really love.
Dude, get the fuck out of here with that. With the not loving. Get the hell out of here. Get this shot.
It's just.
I will cut you, Taylor. I will cut you.
It's just okay. Is my point. Like, I would honestly rather carry Taylor. I would honestly rather carry this Elementum over that bug out. I would. I would
have to disagree. I love the Elementum, but I would rather have a bug out over an Elementum. I like the Axis lock better. I'm a lock weirdo, man. If I'm going to be weird about anything, it's the lock on a knife. I love a lock that allows me to have my fingers out of the way of closing the blade. Like I'm a big fan of anything that allows me to grip it and close it without my fingers being in way of the knife closing.
Well, I'll say it this time, or I'll say it this way. I would take a compression lock 100 times over an Axis lock.
Well, you have to hard on about the Axis lock because you've busted like those infinite. What are those springs called?
Omega springs. I've ruined like 3 of them now.
What's funny, man, is I've never broke one, and I have a knife that's probably 15 years old that's got one of those in it, and I've never broken it. And somehow you break shit that I don't know what you're doing. I
use my shit.
And no. And I was talking to what's his name at Benchmade. What's the guy that he just left Benchmade, I think, but he was
Travis.
He was
Troy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we were joking around about you, about how you said you've broken them. And he's like, yeah, I heard it. And he's like, he goes, I've carried, God knows how many. I've never broken one. He goes, I go hunting. I go out in the woods. I use these knives for shit that nobody should ever use a knife for because he goes, and I've never broken. He goes, I don't know what the fuck Taylor's doing with these Omega springs. And I'm like, I don't either.
Do you want to know what it probably comes down to?
What?
I think I'm corroding them. I think it's the same thing when I get a little sweaty and I rust a knife. I think I'm corroding the springs and that's why they break. Honestly, dude, I think that's what it is.
You have like acid sweat or something. I don't even know. Like your sweat is part salt, part what's that shit that you soak blades into acid etch them? I did a video.
Ferric chloride.
Ferric chloride. Your sweat is one part sweat, one part salt, one part ferric chloride. You rust knives that I've never heard. Acid sweat is a thing.
It's because I'm a salty bitch. That's why.
I thought you were going to say that would be me because I'm a salty old bastard.
Well, you are that.
Salty old bastard. Speaking of, and I don't know why my brain just went to this. I think we were thinking about salty, which makes me think of the ocean, which makes me think of Isla whiskeys. I'm really bummed that I couldn't have a whiskey tonight because I actually got, I don't know if you can see it right there. Can you see that bottle right there?
I
Right?
can see a bottle, a silhouette of a bottle, really.
That bottle right there. Can you see that bottle? A tall black bottle. You know, it comes in a very tall, thin, all black bottle.
You've I can't remember the name. I want to say Oshintoshin, but it's not that.
Nope. Octomore.
Octomore.
I finally got a bottle of Octomore, and it is fucking licious, man. That shit is so good. If you like smoky scotches, that's the holy grail of smoky scotches right there, buddy. That stuff was delicious.
Do you want to see the one knife? Do you want to see the one knife that actually totally breaks the rule of your point of diminishing returns?
I don't.
You don't want to see it. You don't want to see it.
Oh.
You don't want to see it.
You love fucking with me about that knife.
Yeah, it's because it's so good. You wouldn't like it, I think, because it's small. It's smaller than the Elementum.
Look, I don't mind a small knife, right? Like I carry that.
Like it's a small knife.
Dapper, right? I carry the Dapper occasionally, which is a tiny little knife. I'm just saying my preference is about a 3.75 to 4-inch blade on an everyday carry. That's my preference.
There's also this.
Yeah, but I mean, see, that's a nice little knife. I mean, for a slip joint,
it's not a slip joint.
I know, but I'm just saying it's very slip joint-ish looking, right? For slip joints, I will say that a smaller blade doesn't bother me near as much.
What about a bigger slip joint blade?
I don't really see a whole lot of point in a big slip joint blade. I mean, it's fine. That's a monster of a
It's so big. Actually, just for reference, I want to show you next to a PM2 because I don't think most people quite realize how big this slip joint is.
Dude, it's huge. You held it up next to a knife one day, and I was like, God damn, that's a big slip joint.
Yeah, there's a PM2 next to the old beaver tail.
I mean, most PM2s will normally dwarf a slip joint.
Yeah, look at it next to the Pena.
Can I say that my Cortado is fucking really... No, I got a cigar. Somebody said no cigar. I was just talking, so it went out. I actually got 2 cigars.
That's a big ass knife.
Every time I see that comparison, I fucking in my brain that Crocodile Dundee line gets put. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
The thing about it is it is a slip joint, but it has this liner lock, and it's kind of terrifying. Like there's a really solid half lock in here, but you have to push over that liner lock and then push it closed.
Which
it's tough, dude. Look at this.
And see, that's my thing. That's my thing about knives. Why I like compression locks and axis locks, because I really love not having my fingers in the way of the blade while it's closing. I mean, not to say
you don't like that knife, that's for sure.
Not to say that I haven't. I mean, this isn't right. This is like a liner lock, and I mean, I have closed it successfully constantly without cutting myself. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I'm a fan of getting my fingers out of the way.
You need to get one of these Pelican Vault with a knife insert.
By the way, I didn't say what cigar I was smoking tonight. This is a Southern Draw Quick Draw is what this one's called.
So can I just point something out really quickly? Because we started off really rough tonight because YouTube was down. And when we started for the first, I don't know, 30 minutes or what, not 30 minutes, but in the first 20 minutes, we had 5 viewers.
Right.
We are now at an all-time high, which is really cool.
Awesome.
Really shit night turned around.
I wanted to say in the beginning, and we got all fucked up and I forgot to say it, so I'm kind of late in the podcast, but got to say a big thank you out there to all the veterans, man. Today's Veterans Day, right? So
yeah,
got to say a big thank you out there to all the boys out there keeping us all safe in our beds at night while they're out there living with sand in their butt crack over there in places that nobody wants to be.
Yep. See, I left the reference marks on this from when I was sharpening it.
Oh,
so I know how to line it up when I put it up in there next. But yeah, it's I have too many knives. I need to get rid of some. I was going to do a knife collection video, but can't decide if I want to.
Smoking Jeremy a Texas Lancero, not gonna happen. I mean, it will happen.
We are getting closer. Yeah, we are getting closer.
We're still pretty good amount away from 1,000 concurrent. I think we're pretty far off of 1,000 concurrent. I mean, what did we top out? 260, 270, 280?
We just hit 280 just now.
I mean, that's great. I'm glad to see that more people are joining. And by the way, huge thank you to everybody for being patient tonight with YouTube fucking up. So that's pretty awesome that it managed to turn around. But I'd say we're a while from 1,000. I think my jaw is safe for at least several more months. I would say my jaw is in good condition.
You know
Maybe
what
I'll
I
start,
think will get us there?
maybe I'll start doing some stretching exercises.
Jeremy, I think you stretch your jaw plenty.
Just 'cause I talk
Plenty.
a lot doesn't mean I'm stretching my jaw. That just means I'm working my jaw.
Well, I think we can get there by just doing a massive giveaway. I'm going to push it. I want to see you smoke that thing
We should do a
because I think it'll be
giveaway.
hilarious.
I needed to do a giveaway and I didn't. So maybe we'll do a contest. I've got a Benchmade cigar cutter that I was going to do a giveaway on the channel, and then things got sideways, and I haven't done it. Maybe we'll do that on the podcast one night.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm
cigar.
about to hit 100,000 followers on Instagram, and for
Holy
that,
shit. That's crushing.
dude, I like checked it. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah, dude, I'm close to that on Instagram. I think I'm at like 40 or 30 or something. I'm not even remotely close to 100.
Well, I think for 100,000 followers on Instagram, I think I want to do a big giveaway. I think I'm going to buy a Sabenza and give it away.
Yeah, dude, you got
see if somebody will donate one, but I'm going to do a full EDC, but I want it to be like nice. I think I'm going to have a custom Swiss Army knife from Brassworks in there.
that'd be
John's already pitched in. Combat Beads has pitched in. I'll throw in probably one of my wallets that's coming in.
Dude,
yeah.
Speaking of that, whose dick do you have to suck to get a fucking Instagram account verified or whatever it is?
Dude,
like,
I'm at almost 100,000 followers and they will not verify
dude, I don't
me,
understand why they won't. Like, YouTube verified me. I don't understand, because here's the thing. There is actually a couple fake accounts out there with my name that like has my profile picture, and then you look at some bullshit. So I'm like, it would be nice if you fuckers would verify it so people know which is my official account.
Dude, but YouTube won't even verify me. So
I've put in like a dozen times. Once I saw that there was a fake account out there, I was like, let me put in so people know which one's actually me easily. Right. And they just don't ever answer me. I don't even get a no. I just fucking don't get anything. I mean, the most useless, you know why? Because it's a Facebook situation. Facebook fucking sucks.
Well,
I'll
put it this way. I've been making content for 10 years, and I've got colleagues on Twitter who had 2,000 followers at the time and got verified, and I had like 15,000 and they would not verify me, and we worked for the same publication at the same time.
Yeah, what is
I'm just
that
like, why won't you verify me? I've never been verified on any platform ever. I
feel like you must have to like tug somebody just the right way in order to fucking get verified on Instagram or something, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't get it. Their qualifications for what it takes to verify you are, according to what I've read, I meet those. So I don't know why they're not verifying me. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I've met the YouTube verification rules or minimum requirements for over a year now.
Well, now I will say part of that is probably that they changed their rules around how they verify people on YouTube. It used to be like this, that, or what have you. Then they made a big change to how that was working, and they were going to retroactively do it to where people that had already been verified, they were going to take it away because they changed the rules a little bit, and a lot of people wouldn't meet it. I don't think I would have even met it. And there's a bunch of uproar, and then so they made the call that like anybody who had already been verified, they're not going to take it away, but going forward, the policy was a little different. So you may just not meet that new policy yet. I forgot what the guidelines were, but also right now, everything on YouTube is going slow as shit because the Rona, they're working at a lower staff. So like anything you put into customer service is taking like twice as long and all this stuff. So that could also be part of your problem.
Yeah. Well, I've still just never been able to be verified on any platform ever. Even when I covered tech, nothing. I've got friends who are in tech with smaller fraction of followers, and they got verified, and I can't. So, oh well. I mean, I worked for CNN, or not CNN, CBS at one point. You know, like
you're like fucking for real.
Yeah, not CNN. Never worked for them. I worked for CBS though.
I talked about these coffee cups and how much I love them. The not neutral Cortado cups. Actually, I think these are technically I don't think these are actually cortadas. I think these are their cappuccino cups because I think they're 4 ounces. They're just fucking great though, dude. I love them. I don't know what it is I love about them, but they're just great. I don't know. They're great. They're expensive as shit though. God damn, those things cost a lot of money. For a stupid fucking coffee cup, it's like $20. That's a lot for a single coffee cup, dude.
Yeah, well,
$20.
I've spent that much or more on one. I got one of those keep cups a long time ago. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
I don't know if I've ever spent that much.
Yeah, they're like a glass. It's a glass travel cup for coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's got a cork.
And I know this is going to sound super like bouge, but part of the reason the design behind these is the shape on the inside allows for better pouring of latte art because of the shape. It allows the milk to roll and do a certain deal, but that's part of the selling factor of those. And the same with the new Fellow handleless coffee cups they came out with, double walled handleless. But yeah, they get a little expensive, man. $20 for a single little cup that holds 4 ounces seems to be a little expensive, but hey.
Yeah. All right.
I still dig it. Are we going to get to comments pretty soon? Are we going to roll? Usually at about 140 ish. Oh yeah, that's a pretty cool looking cup. I like the little cork ring there for not burning your digits.
Yeah. It's a cool little cup.
Wall or single?
Single. It's just glass.
Just glass.
And see, I didn't want a double walled because I like my coffee to cool off quickly. I don't like my coffee to stay hot.
Well, not just that, but normally double wall stuff tends to be a little fragile, right? Like they're usually, if it's double walled, they have to make the glass a little thinner for it not to be like 3.5 inches thick. And it tends to get a little.
The keep cup is about as thick a glass as the Pete's Pirate Life whiskey tumbler. Not the base. The base is thick as fuck, but
speaking of whiskey tumblers, shameless plug, dropping Friday, biatches. Where's my damn? Oh, dude, nailed the focus. Fucking how about it? Wait, where's the leaf and barrel? Probably can't see it very well on here because it's hard to look at it without a colored background, but it's got the leaf and barrel logo embossed, full bottom stamp, custom hand blown, designed by yours truly and the good folks at I was about to say Big Idea, but exclusive.
Get it right.
We designed this thing from the ground up to try to make it the perfect whiskey class. And those are dropping Friday along with the leaf and barrel Zippos. So those will be dropping Friday and early access to my Patreon folks on Thursday. So tomorrow sometime probably.
All right. Before we go to comments and fielding questions,
Roger,
I want a couple of answers from you about knives. Okay.
Shoot.
Grail knife. What's your grail knife? If you had one knife out of all knives to choose, what would be your grail?
That's tough, man. Because a lot of the knives that I really like, I already have. Knives that are in my list of shit to still get, I do really want a Sabenza. Full-size Sabenza with like those bog oak inlays. I really, really love that knife. So that may be it. I also really like the fucking, I pronounced it wrong. The one you got, the one you
Norseman?
just had out. Norseman. God damn, my brain is not working. I do really like those knives and I think it's unique and it's cool, but honestly, probably a Sabenza. I do want a Sabenza. After watching that video,
a basic bitch.
Dude, like I said, I'm not a crazy bougie knife guy. Like I just like a good worker that I can use and not feel bad about it. And from everybody that's told me Sabenzas are kind of high end, but they're also workers, right? They're meant to be a working knife.
It feels more than any other knife I have, not the small Sabenza. The inlays just kind of make it feel a little more dainty, which seems kind of counterintuitive because it makes it thicker. It just doesn't feel quite as tooly as the no inlay, the plain Jane small Sabenza, but the large Sabenza
with inlays.
But the large plain Jane just feels like a damn boss. And speaking of that, I do want an Nums on because those things are fucking tanks.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I know that's probably not the most bougie knife. There's probably much more expensive knives that people are like, oh, how can you not say this or that? But I just for the way I like to treat my knives and the way that I use my knives, and I'm not a big fan of having a knife that isn't going to be a worker. I think a Sabenza, because a Sabenza is right at my kind of top price point for what I would probably ever buy a knife. I probably would never go up to that like $800-900 price point for a knife, just me personally. But I
We'll
mean,
see
I
about
may.
that.
We'll see.
About
I mean,
that.
I also said I'd never spend over, $100 on a watch, and then I spent $3,000 in like a week and a half on watches. So I mean, who fucking knows? But to answer, the short answer is Sabenza. Next, what's the next question?
My Grail, I have
I was
the
about to
production.
say, you have your Grail, bitch. Like you've got
No. No. I have a knife I really like. I have the production version of my Grail. The production version is the Spyderco Nirvana.
Yeah, that is a dope ass knife. I'm not gonna lie.
The BC, it's an integral, so it's all solid titanium.
Yeah,
The one piece handle, all one piece handle. A custom Nirvana from Peter Ascenti is spendy. I think they start at like 12.
Okay.
But
Then
goddamn,
that might be in my list then. So I'm my
look
price.
at that, and this is just one version of it. I mean, he does his customs are all different. So
I do love a Spidey hole, so that might actually take the spot of a Sabenza. Is it as hard use as a Sabenza though?
Oh yeah, I'd say
Is
so.
it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way it can really develop blade play unless you fuck something up, because it's one piece. It's not two scales. It's one piece.
I really wish Chris Reeve would make a Sabenza with a hole. Yeah, I know there's places you can send them off to and get a hole put in it. I know Pete did that to one of his knives, but he also wasn't crazy happy with it after they put the hole in it, because I think he said he thought the heat of them drilling the hole kind of warped the blade a little bit, or I don't know. He was complaining a little bit about like the way the action on the knife was once he did all the mods to it and got it back. It wasn't perfect. But yeah, I guess my grill knife would be a knife that doesn't exist, which would be a Sabenza with a Spidey hole.
I mean, you could make it happen, and it wouldn't be too terribly expensive.
Yeah. So what's your other question?
Somebody had mentioned it, but you're not going to have much of an answer for it, I don't think. It was an old question that I saw, but it was, if you could have 3 customs, what would it be?
Yeah, I don't.
If money weren't an issue.
I don't have much of an answer for that.
Right.
One of those.
You're not really into custom knives, so.
I mean, I am, but I'm not. Like, I appreciate them and I get it, but like again, man, I'm a no safe queen kind of guy. Like, I want a worker, and if I'm getting a custom knife that I dropped $1,500 or $2,000 on, I'm gonna feel real weird fucking getting into some nitty gritty shit with that knife.
Nah, it's meant to be used that way.
I hear you, but it just hurts my soul. I'm like,
for me, 3 customs, easy. I mean, obviously, a custom Nirvana.
I may agree with you on that. So I'll say that's one in my list that now that you told me that and you showed me that would be one of the ones on my list. I would pay for that.
A custom slut.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, yeah, it's cool, but like that's not anything that would be in my like list. You know what I mean?
Well, if you look at a custom, hang on. Richard Rogers, we'll say Slim Utility. It's probably a better search result if you search Slim Utility than if you search slut.
Yeah. If you research slut and have your screen shared, you're probably going to pull up some stuff we shouldn't be showing on a live stream.
Yeah, but he may do them in different sizes, but man, he's got so many different versions of it in his customs. And honestly, this thing is just about damn perfect as an EDC knife.
I just figured out a downfall drinking coffee on a live stream.
You're too awake.
You're
woke.
No, I got.
You're woke now.
Bad. I mean, the piss factor is strong. I might have to fucking. Luckily, my bathroom's like right there. I might have to go drain the fucking weasel real quick here in a minute.
All right. Well, wait for the comments section first.
Yeah, because then you can answer a couple.
And then a third, it'd probably either be a Shamwari, so custom version of this, because he does a bigger version. So there's a slightly larger version of this knife that you can get as a custom, not as a production. He may do a production field grade, but I think that's like a semi-custom. I don't remember. But yeah, if it's not one of those, Roosevelt, Oz Machine Company Roosevelt seems like a really good option.
Why am I drinking water? That's the dumbest thing I could do right now. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm sitting here. I'm like, oh, let me take a little sip of water. I'm like, I gotta pee really bad. Why the fuck am I drinking water? That's a bad idea.
All right. Last question.
Okay.
Before we go to comments. If you could only have one knife, what would it be? I'm going to guess and say PM2.
Yeah. It would probably be a toss up between a PM2 and a bug out. I'd probably lean PM2 though, just for the ergonomics. I think even though I really love the bug out, it doesn't have great ergonomics. And to me, a PM2 is almost a perfect knife. I mean, there's obviously some things. The tip's a little delicate, right? It doesn't have the strongest tip on a knife. I'd actually like to try one of those. Didn't they come out with a PM2 Tonto?
Mm-hmm. They look a little funky, but yeah.
I might, because Tontos usually have a stronger tip on them. I'd like to maybe try one of those out and see, but action, size, price point, steel, materials, all that, probably if I could only carry one, it'd probably be some version of a PM2. Love it.
My answer, I answered it in a video, and I said a large Sabenza plain Jane. This is the 21. I don't care if it'd be a 31 or a 21. I'd be happy with it. But I think, and I've not owned one, so I don't know for sure, but I think if there were any other knife, it would probably still be a Chris Reeve, and it would probably be the Untitled, which, if you're not familiar, is just a beefier version. It's a different knife than the Sabenza, but
that I've never had one, but based on what everybody says about the Sabenza, that very likely once I get one, that may change from this to that. I
think it would. If you're not familiar with the Untitled, that is what it looks like.
I think Chad has one of those.
I know he has a Sabenza.
Well, no, I don't think he does.
I think he has the Nkosi.
That's what he has, the Nkosi. That's what he has. Which I actually like that knife too. It looks good.
They all look good, but the Untitled, I think if I had just one Chris Reeve knife, it would probably be the Untitled. But I've not owned one, but they're just tanks.
Yeah.
I mean, Untitled, it means the boss. So
yeah. I mean, that's my thing. If I could only have one knife, I would want it to be able to last a really long time, be able to withstand multiple different types of tasks and hold up to it. Right. I want a worker. I don't want some bullshit knife, which, kind of is the point behind Sabenza. So yeah, that would be my answer. Either a PM2 or that might change to a Sabenza after I own one. Cause
I think it would. I think it would. The ergos aren't as good on a Sabenza. They're not, but
and I prefer the only reason I say it may and not for sure it would be is that's a liner lock, or no, that's a frame lock, right? A Sabenza. Mm-hmm. I prefer the compression lock over a frame lock personally, and I prefer a Spidey hole over a stud because I like to Spidey flick knives.
Well, on the Untitled, it's got double lugs, so you can Spidey flick it. You can get a double lug Sabenza, but Spidey flicking this right here kind of sucks. I mean, you can do it, but
fucks your finger all up. So yeah, it'd be tough for me to.
Sabenza thumb is a thing, though.
Yeah,
for sure. Sabenza thumb is a thing.
All right. So you want to hit a few comments for a little bit?
Yeah, I'll hit some comments, and you can go take a piss.
Wait, I almost forgot. But yeah, I do have to really pee. So you go hit that. I'll make it quick.
All right, let's see. Oh, that's all we're gonna do. He can't hear me, but that's all we're gonna do. Jeremiah Daniels, Jeremy, thoughts on autos and favorite prototype? Of course, I pick a comment or question for Jeremy. I know Taylor's feelings, and sorry, Taylor. Me personally will be starting an operator collection if you want to sell. I no longer have any operator Protex. Getting the Strider operator soon. I'm not sure what Jeremy's thoughts on autos are, but I can come back to this question once he's back. I didn't realize it was a question for Jeremy. So let's see. I gave my Para 2 away because I love my Para 3 so much more. Yeah, the Paramilitary 2 is a big knife. The Para 3, I think a lot of people like it more as an EDC knife because it's smaller. For me, I don't know. I think I tend to prefer something slimmer than the Para 2 and Para 3. They've got a really wide blade because of the Spidey hole. And because of that, when it's closed, it takes up a lot of pocket space compared to something where you're going to get similar cutting edge out of it, and it just doesn't take up nearly as much pocket space. It's just much more slimmer, It's more low profile in the pocket. So I tend to stick to narrower knives over the Paramilitary 2 or Para 3. David Robertson asks, what's the opinion on the Gerber 06 Auto for you guys? And if Jeremy smokes that cigar, I'll get on live stream and smoke it with him. Gerber 06 Auto, I've got one. It is a beast of a knife. And I think as far as autos go, that thing is slow. I've got several autos that just make the Gerber 06 Auto seem like it's in slow motion. I think it's
about 3 pounds lighter, son.
I think it's made well, but it's definitely not my favorite knife. It's a beast of a knife, and for me personally, too big for an EDC knife. It's chunky, very, very chunky. There was a question. The first question I clicked on when you left was for you, so I'm going to come back to it. He said, "Jeremy, thoughts on autos and favorite ProTech you'd get?"
Thoughts on autos? I think everybody should have one. I think in general, they're not the most useful knives. Just because the nature, you can get gunk down in there, and then there can be issues with it working correctly. And also it's kind of like a lot of states, they're not legal. And if you're out and you fucking do that, everybody loses their shit. So you get a lot of snowflake issues with carrying an auto. However, I love it. And it's the fidget factor and the cool factor is next level, especially on out the fronts. I know you're talking about autos in general, not just OTFs, but, my favorite is the old ProTech Ultratech. I think is like kind of the
that is not a ProTech,
or not a ProTech, a fucking
a Microtech.
Jesus Christ,
what
Ultratech. I got the Ultratech right, and I fucked up the name. I will say though, even though this is kind of the benchmark in which most OTFs are kind of made, I think I've heard some really great things from somebody that's fairly reliable. He knows a little bit about knives. He's kind of a know-it-all bitch, but he knows quite a bit. I think he does his channel, Best Damn EDC. His name's Taylor Martin. But he swears by the Guardian Tacticals because of the ceramic ball bearing on the action is supposed to be just next level smooth. I've not tried one of those, so it'd be hard for me to gauge that. But thus far, of all the OTFs I've used, my favorite is the Microtech Ultratech, and I love them.
Jeremiah, I know you did not ask my opinion.
I'm not a big fan, real quick, Taylor, before you answer. I'm not a huge fan of non-OTF automatics.
Well, I'm going to say
there are some that I love, but in general, I would rather have a manual knife over an auto.
Yeah,
they're a pain to close with one hand.
Some of them are, but it's funny because the ProTech I would buy is not an auto; it's a flipper.
Right. That's I love that one.
I mean, look,
that would probably be the ProTech I would buy too. By the way,
this is the best ProTech has made. I mean, it's in their best auto. Yeah. And my favorite auto from ProTech is their slowest opening knife. And it's just a weird, different little thing. This is the Arcform Slimfoot auto. And you said they're hard to close one-handed. Look, not this one. This one very easy to close one-handed.
Some you can definitely one hand, but just in general, autos are a little harder to. I mean, I have a couple autos. They're more inexpensive autos. Like I have one of those. What's that one that I told you about? I turned you on to it, and you're like, "Oh, that is for the money. That's a fucking ridiculous auto."
I don't know.
It's not the Kalashnikov. It's the Strike.
Oh, Boker Strike. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, for the price, that's a fucking ridiculous auto.
All right. And since the last guy asked about the Gerber 06 auto, this is the 06 auto. And just for comparison's sake, here is what I would consider a fairly big EDC knife, something that's chunky. This is the 06 auto. I mean, this thing is a beast in the
wow.
That
thing is big. Because this is a chunky ass knife.
Yeah. This thing is like half a pound. And it doesn't open fast. I mean, yeah, I can flip open a knife like a manual flipper faster than this thing.
Most people
like
have
this,
seen a PM too.
Like, look at this. Let's push the button on the Gerber and flip open. I gotta stagger them, but look.
Well, I was going to say, I'm gonna laugh if somehow you cut the fuck out of your hand. My neck.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna make sure you're all right, but then I'm gonna laugh.
The one thing I do like about what Gerber does with the 06 is it has this secondary safety. So you can't deploy the knife. The button just doesn't work unless you turn off the safety.
See, I'm going to disagree with that. I fucking hate a safety on an automatic knife. I can't stand it. It always gets flipped in your pocket, and then you go to deploy it, and you're like, tink, oh, it's fucking locked. And then you got to unlock it. I hate it. I go the old nut and fancy route, and I glue them bitches open.
But if you have a button this big, that is a huge deployment button. A button that big, and it's easy to push, whereas this one is recessed. This one, you don't ever have to worry about opening in your pocket. This thing definitely would have to worry about it. So, yeah, 06 Auto, not my favorite.
Jonah says, Jeremy, do people ever make fun of your ponytail beard? Occasionally, but I chalk it up to usually people that make fun of other people that can't grow a beard. I feel like anybody who makes
Can I rant for a second?
Yeah, man, shoot, rant. That's what this is all about.
We're sitting at dinner last night, and I don't know how it came up, but Alex was like, "You look kind of like a sloppy, unkempt, just mess, Taylor." And I'm just like,
harsh.
Wow, thank you. And she was like, "I was just watching the podcast last week, and Jeremy looked nice and groomed and just put together, and then you look like a mess." And I'm just like,
dude, let me just say thank you, Alex. Nobody has ever said that I look polished and well put together. So thank you very much. I greatly appreciate your kind and generous words.
Where that comes from is she does not like my beard.
Here's the thing, though. Let me say this, and let me tell Alex this, right? I don't know if she's on here tonight. Usually she's in the comments, and I haven't seen her, so she might be busy.
She's probably asleep right now. She
might be asleep or busy with the baby.
Oh, baby's long asleep, my guy.
Most beards, unless you're one of those lucky people that has like an extremely crazy straight beard, which is pretty rare. Most people's beards are pretty coarse and curly. They're going to look rough as fuck for like the first year you grow them out, man. Cause it's bushy and there's not much you can do with it. And it's hard to maintain. That's why I keep my beard the length that I do, because my wife hated my beard for like the first year and a half I grew it out. She fucking hated it. Now she loves it because once it gets long enough, and people can fuck with my ponytail all they want, but it keeps everything together and out of my way and neat. So it's not just like out here. So anybody who makes fun of the ponytail beard is somebody who has never grown a long beard. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, to answer your question. So I really chalk that up to them either just being a smooth faced bitch or not, just in general, never having a beard.
I think it's
enough.
Technically like a upside down man bun.
Well, no,
downward dog man bun. There we go.
It's a yoga man bun. No, it would have to be a bun though. It's not. It's just like a little ponytail. It's just, I just put a loose,
whatever you want to call it. It's a downward dog man bun.
I get these little tiny fucking all black rubber hair tie things that are small. I don't even like double loop it. I just put it in there straight, and it just keeps it just enough to keep it together to where it doesn't flap around everywhere and cause a mess.
Told her that. I told her, like, if I want to grow my beard out, I just have to go through this phase of it looking like trash.
It's true. You do.
That's
it's just like when you grow your hair out on your head.
Right. And I'm doing that. And I'm at this point where it looks nasty and nappy and I can't do anything with it. But I'm at that phase where it's going to look like this for, the next 4 months.
Right.
So I just put on a hat every morning and that's that.
Brandon just made a good comment. He said, tell the Vikings that tie their beard isn't manly. Yeah. Vikings used to do all kinds of braids and ties, and those bitches were savages. So anybody who says anything about it, go fuck yourself.
I like this from Justin, upside down troll doll.
I mean, it looks like an upside down troll doll is when I don't do it, because then my beard does kind of come to a point. So if I don't put it in a tie, it is a dead like troll point, like upside down.
I like the downward dog man bun because it's the most anti-Jeremy thing ever. And that's what I'm always going to refer to it as now.
When I had my beard shorter, I used to put it in a knot sometimes. And people used to fuck with me about it. They'd say it looked like a nutsack hanging there, or a fucking man bun, or
chin balls.
Yeah.
That thing from a Men in Black movie, chin balls.
Oh yeah. It was, no, Balchinian.
Balchinian. There we go.
Balchinian. That's what it was.
Hunter Jolly, do you ever think about covering tech again? Fuck. I
was about to say,
no,
I can answer that. I've heard Taylor rant about this.
No. I burned myself out so bad on tech. And man, I can't get into it anymore. Stuff like this, a 3D printer, I can get into, but I'm not going to cover it. I'll use it, but when it comes to like critiquing shit, I don't even like critiquing knives. I just like them. I like all of them, and it's one to a certain point. They're all great after a certain amount, but at the same time, if there's something bad with it, I would tell you. I would be like, hey, this thing sucks for this reason, but man, just reviewing shit for so long got so old because I could never just enjoy something. It was just a miserable existence. And
not just that, but something me and you have talked about, and it's the reason I don't cover tech near as much on my channel. I still do it occasionally, and I still plan on doing it occasionally, but I don't do it near as much as I used to, and I kind of got away. I used to do a lot more tech on my channel. Is that it gets a little repetitive because
everything is iterative.
Right. And I mean, seriously iterative. Like, I don't mean like a lot of people say, well, yeah, knives are too. It's just a little different there. But I mean, fuck, dude, tech is so much like the same thing, but now it has a 30 megapixel sensor instead of 28. It's like, it's so fucking not exciting. It's just not exciting. I don't know how else to say it. It's just, eventually, I think we'll get to another point where we'll start making some big leaps and bounds in tech, and maybe it'll be a little more interesting. But I feel like we've been in this kind of fucking pigeonhole lately where we kind of hit a certain point with technology, and now everything's been very incremental, and it's just kind of like, just kind of nothing's. For me to make a video, I have to get like stoked about it, and there has been very few tech products that have come out lately that I've been truly pumped about. Right? If I'm not pumped about it, I'm not going to fucking talk about it. I'm just not. So, and that's actually a good point I wanted to touch on is people, and it's something that would be interesting to hear your take on it. And it's a little different, but people ask like with sponsored videos and stuff, like, how does that work? And does that influence your decision and so forth and so on? And what I say to that is, no, it doesn't influence my decision because I test the product and I make sure I like it before I even agree to a sponsorship on a video.
Yeah.
I don't care what the price. I've turned down many sponsors because it was a product or a service that I didn't like and I wasn't behind. I just say no.
The only one I think I've ever just agreed to flat out was Trade Coffee.
Well, sure.
So
but that's my point.
It's great coffee. Like,
well, right. But I mean, that's my point is
if
you see a sponsor on my video, I didn't do it because they came to me with money and it made me go, oh, well, I want the payday. It was a company that came to me that I was about the company, and then they offered money. So obviously I'm going to take it but if I don't support the company or the products, I'm just not going to do the video at all.
You guys have no idea how many sponsors I've turned down. Dude, I had one that came to me last month. Great rate, great everything. And they're like, we want you to shave on camera. And I'm like,
nope.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
So, yeah, I mean, I turn stuff down just because it doesn't make sense. I turn stuff down because I don't like the companies. I turn stuff down more often than I say yes. I'd say that I'd probably turn down 2 or 3 companies to every one I say yes to, or more.
There was one comment that I saw that I wanted to go back to, and now I can't remember where it is. Oh well. There was somebody asked me.
Somebody asked me about Ferrum Forge knives. I don't know where it was. Here's one. Have you heard anything about the F5.5 release date? I haven't. If you aren't familiar, I did a video on the Vox F5.5 that he's doing with Urban EDC Supply. They were supposed to ship in the fall, and that's all I really know. So no update from them yet.
Oh, here's an interesting question, and I think this is kind of along the kind of spectrum of what we've talked about. Michael Gonzalez says most you should spend on whiskey and expensive bottles really worth the price. He's saying an episode on it, and that is definitely something we could do a whole episode on. And honestly, it very much mimics the same content or the same kind of theme that we did tonight, in the fact that I think a lot of the same points still apply, right? Like law of diminishing returns and overhyped shit that's really not that much better, and stuff like that. Dude, hugest example I've ever seen, man. How much that shit.
Spoiler alert.
There are some really good bottles out there. It's the same thing though. I mean, like I said, maybe we will do a whole episode, so I won't get too deep into it, but I mean, it really is a very similar thing in that there are some expensive bottles out there that are truly, if it's within your wheelhouse and something you can, you got the budget for it and you're a collector, it's worth the splurge, right? But it's a
Did you
serious
say
law.
something about we should just drink Truly? I heard you say Truly.
For sure did not say truly.
I'm pretty sure you said the word Truly, and that's all I got out of all you said.
I said are truly worth the money. Maybe I didn't truly.
Here it is again. Truly.
Good point. There's going to be some editing in there to make it sound like I said truly. But yeah, like, folks at Scotch Malt Whiskey sent me that like $700 bottle of scotch. It is one of the best bottles of scotch I've ever had. I had to pay like $300 for that fucking bottle of Octomore. It's one of the best Islas I've ever had. Like, but it is marginally better for way more, right? So it has to be something that, you're passionate about and you're willing to spend that way more money for an incremental difference. So it's very similar to the knife subject we covered, but maybe we'll do a whole episode on that. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Somebody asked what printer. Where was that? Adam Newlight says, "What printer do you have?"
Canon, like inkjet.
Yeah, I got the FlashForge Adventurer 3 Lite because normally.
Why does that sound like a knife? FlashForge. That sounds like isn't there a knife called like a Ferrum Forge or something?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking about. Anyway, they're normally about $370. They've dropped in price recently, but I got one used for like $260. Like I was like, okay, I need a 3D printer. $260 for this is a really good price. So yeah, it's about $100 off what it normally is. We'll see how it does. I think it's going to be good. This print, I'm actually kind of impressed with how strong this is. I've never really 3D printed stuff. I've had 3D printed stuff sent to me for prototypes and other things, but this thing is very, very strong.
Joe with a Big Idea or with Exclusive, I don't know if it was him. He 3D printed when I was doing these ashtrays, when we were prototyping different designs and stuff for these ashtrays. He 3D printed one. And now that I'm thinking back, I was just talking about how the lines are in anything. The thing he sent me had no lines. So they must have a higher end 3D printer that doesn't print, because that thing was smooth as butter, man. It's
like your resolution. I don't know what they call it in 3D printing, but you can choose how fine it is. But I think it also matters what material you use. Also, Joe sent me a prototype for my flashlight, and I couldn't tell you where it is.
It looked awesome, though, didn't it? Oh, somebody asked me what Octomore. It's Octomore 10-year, not Octomore 10.1. They actually have one called 10-year. It's a 10-year-old Octomore.
Ooh, that's a good question, because I don't know where Jeremy lands on this.
What's that?
What is your dream car? No price limit. So assume money is not an issue and you don't have to worry about all those services and how expensive oil changes or wheels and tires are.
Man,
what is your dream car?
That's a super hard question for me because there's a couple. It'd be really hard for me to pick it down to one, right? Because I really want an old, like 67 Impala or Chevelle or some like old like 60s muscle car. Like I love that era of car. I also really love like the old Mercury lead sleds. Chad has one of those, and dude, that I forgot what year those are from, but they're called a Mercury lead sled. Very classic old car. So there's a big part of me that loves the old car, kind of muscle car, or sometimes even older, or like a really old Ford pickup, like 40s or 50s Ford pickup. So there's a big part of me that would love to have one of those. But then I'd also really love to have like a tricked out, like fully decked out new truck of some nature, rather that be like one of the ones Taylor just got, or like one of the ones Pete has, the Ford Raptor. I'm not a big sports car guy, like Lamborghinis and Bugattis and all that shit. Like they're cool, but like, I'm not a big into that kind of shit. I would rather have like an old muscle car or a big old truck of some nature. That's just my answer. What about
I would
you,
I'd love to have just maxed out Raptor. I think that would be pretty sweet. But honestly, if we're talking Raptor, I'd rather have a Velociraptor, which is what Hennessy does to the Raptor. They just make it a fucking bonkers truck, like stupid. I think it's like a $16,000 or $20,000 kit on top of your normal Raptor, so it makes it about $100,000 truck.
Right.
Post Malone has a 6x6 Velociraptor. Have you seen that thing?
Oh, dude, wait. You know what else would be really cool if money was no issue? What were those fucking Fords they came out with that were like, I think Ashton Kushner. I think he had one, and it was like an F450 or F5. Dude, it looked like a fucking dump truck on the front.
Dude, I was going down the road the other day, and you want to know what I saw? An F650 triple cab.
Maybe that's what dude, it's a big fucking truck and it looks dope as shit. It had stacks like a semi truck. I mean, dude, it was awesome. It had big ass tires on it. It looked dope as fuck.
Dude, I'm rolling down the road through pretty much downtown Raleigh. This fucking thing
that's
passes
it, dude. I think that's it.
F650 triple cab.
Yeah, dude. I think he had one of those. I think that's what it was because it kind of looked like, see on the front, it kind of looks like a dump truck or something.
Yeah,
but it had
like my truck is
stacks.
big. Yeah. My truck is big in general. I mean, most people who see it are like, "This is a big truck." Dude, that thing sits like probably 1.5 feet higher than my truck. It's so fucking tall.
I mean, imagine that big beast of a bitch with stacks in it, just on the back. Just, I mean, dude, talk about a mobile fucking house.
I would have to get my leg up like mid chest to get it on the fucking step.
Here's the thing. That thing's awesome, but anytime you pulled up, people would think you're compensating with a car that big.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're for sure
anyway,
gonna get fucked with on that one.
Have you seen Post Malone's Velociraptor though?
No, what the fuck?
This one isn't Post Malone's Velociraptor. His is white, but this
is
right
a Velociraptor.
Here. So they take a Raptor, they cut the back end off of it, and they make this. This whole thing is fabricated. They make a 6x6 Raptor.
I just don't know if I like that, dude. That's kind of crazy looking.
It's
like
ridiculous. All right, but let's get back to the question. What would I get if money were not an issue?
Right.
Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. This car is just...
Dude, it's super dope. I mean, I'm not going to debate that at all. That's a fucking pimp car.
The acoustics out of this car are just amazing. It sounds like a Formula One car.
Sure.
It just sounds like it. And people are over here talking about Koenigsegg and I'm sure all these other crazy supercars. I don't want any of that stuff. I want a Berlinetta because this is classy. It's badass. I love the F12. I love the F12.
I agree.
Always have.
I mean, it's dope. I completely agree with everything you're saying. There's nothing bad I can say about those cars. And that's why I said I get it. I'm just not a big supercar kind of guy, right? Like I would much rather have an old muscle car that just sounds like it's about to stall all the time because it's got like an like an overhead or what are those things called? The high lift cam. Yeah, dude. And they just sit there and dude, there's something about old cars from like the 60s and older that they just got soul, man. They've got soul that cars today don't have. I don't know what it is.
And see, the thing is, there's a car that's very similar to that Berlinetta. It's a very different car, but as far as appearances go, it's similar, and I could go for it, and it's much more attainable. I'm not saying I could buy one now, but the Jaguar F-Type Coupe, I love these two.
Yeah,
I absolutely love them. I have a specific type of car that I really like. I love coupes, and
I'm not
that right there. Guy. I know you're not. See, you want to know what one of my all-time favorite cars is? All-time favorite cars is a Lotus Exige.
Volkswagen Beetle.
A Lotus Exige or an Elise. And dude, I think one of the goals I have with my channel, I'm obviously I've been talking about getting the shop and building things. One of the things I want to do is get a Lotus and just have fun with it. If I can ever grow the channel to that size, I want a Lotus. I mean, they're not even in production anymore. The Exige and the Elise are not in production. So I don't know if that means the value is going up or down, but I want a Lotus. They're like bare bones. There's no radio. There's no air conditioning. They're just fucking, they have a Camry engine and they're they're super lightweight and just here. Have you ever seen one?
Here, zoom in on this. I keep seeing people several times have asked to show the Zippo again. Now this one's a little scratched up because I've been wearing it in my pocket. So obviously the one you get won't have scratches because I wear this in my pocket with like the same pocket my knife's in, so it rubs. I don't care about getting scratches on stuff because I have Zippos that are old, and all the scratches eventually turn into like the finish. They all blend together. Right. They eventually get like that where it's like dull and they all look the same, but you know, they will scratch up when you first get them because they're high polished. But yeah, it is just got the leaf and barrel logo on it. It's all brass. Yes, it is a solid brass. And these are the armored Zippos. So they're actually, I forgot what, so many times thicker than the standard Zippos. So they should hold up a little better. And they come with the dual jet for you guys that are cigar smokers, and all Zippos come with the I don't have it over here. All Zippos come with the standard Zippo insert. So it'll come with a standard Zippo insert and the dual jet for guys that don't want to light their cigars with Zippo fluid. Brain fart. How much? They're going to be $75, I think, which really, honestly, I was looking because we were trying to figure out the price point and how much they cost us and to get the custom work and then the custom packaging we do and stuff. And I looked on Zippo's website and I was like, man, we're doing pretty good, because Zippo had an ugly ass lighter that was brass that they had put some ugly ass engraving on that did not look good. And they were charging $70 for that with just one insert. It was just a standard insert and it was ugly as shit. And it was $70. And I was like, damn, we did pretty good, because we're given a second insert, which is like a $15 value for just barely over that. So yeah, these are going to be 75. And I think the glasses are 100, which I know that's a lot for a whiskey glass, but these are all individually made by a dude. I've actually got some video that I'm putting together on, how this guy makes these are all handmade. I'm not going to tell you the amount because I don't want it to weird people out with the stuff, but there's not a ton of them going to drop. They are going to be a readily available thing though, right? The Zippo and the glass are neither one going to be limited drop. Once they're gone forever. They will, if they sell out, they might not be restocked right away because it takes a while for us to get these made from Zippo. And it definitely takes a while to get these made because, like I said, it takes this guy like 30 minutes to make each one of these. He hand blows them and shapes them. I got some video of him doing it. I'm going to post so you guys can see. It's a really cool process, but it takes him 30 minutes a piece on these. A dude in Tennessee hand makes these. So when and if they sell out, we will restock them. It's not going to be a one and done kind of thing. But they could potentially be out of stock for, a few weeks to a month before we have a chance to restock. But yeah, I think they're going to be about $100 a piece.
Slick says, dude, Jeremy, your whiskey collection behind you is dope as fuck. Well, Slick, thanks. I have some bad news.
Thanks.
It's actually a bunch of empty bottles that he found in a dumpster.
You're totally wrong.
And he filled them with sweet tea.
This is a green screen. You're wrong on both accounts. This isn't even my room. This is all a green screen.
His actual whiskey collection is more sad than my little cart here.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. What's funny is you can't even see all of the whiskey collection because there's 2 more rows above this one, right? Am I saying that right?
And then an overflow in the closet, right?
Yeah, there's 2 more rows above this one. And then, yeah, there's a huge overflow in the closet of, I can't fit everything here. Yeah. I would take my camera off, but there's all kind of wires going into it. No, it definitely, there's 2 more rows above what you can see. And then there's probably 30 or 40 bottles in my closet that are backstocked.
I didn't even think about that. It could be
colored truly
with food coloring in it. Yeah.
It is. It's colored truly. Actually, what it is I watched Peter's video, and colored, watered down coffee actually mimics the color of whiskey. Exactly. That's all whiskey. Actually, it's funny. Me and Dan were talking about that the other day. A lot of times people see this and they're like, man, I don't see these bottles go down very fast. And I'm like, dude, I've got like 75 or 80 bottles of whiskey. Like, I usually drink a couple ounces of whiskey a night when I sit down. But when you've got 75 or 80 bottles and you're varying which bottles you drink, it takes a long time to go through that many. And then plus I'm always getting new bottles, so I drink out of those. So you rarely ever run out of a bottle.
I can't say the same thing. I am running out of them faster than I'm buying them. So
that happens in the beginning. Once you start to build your collection up a little bit, you'll find that it'll start accumulating.
The problem is that I drink at home most nights, and most of my bottles are here. So I keep going through the ones that are at home fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then these only get touched once a week, really. Or sometimes I'll have one when I'm sitting in here, but
Brandon.
Speaking of what we're talking about,
use those bottles and pee in them like Howard Hughes. Yeah, dude, what the fuck happened to that guy? He went totally mental at the end there, right? Oh, that's a Lotus, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at that. That's nice. I like it.
They look a little like a tennis shoe, though.
Yeah. Look, there's nothing inside there. Bare bones. It's just fun. But used and 13 years old with I don't know how many miles. That one's only got 6,900 miles.
Patina. I'm seeing lots of patina. Oh, he's got the I love that one on the end. Patina. And you say it with like authority. You're like patina.
Yeah. It's well intentioned.
Somebody said which for both of you, which whiskey to start a collection? That depends, man. It depends on if you're a bourbon guy or a Scotch guy.
I don't think anybody just getting into whiskey starts with Scotch unless you're hardcore.
You did, didn't you?
No. I drink bourbon a lot. I mean, one of my first, I would say, nicer bottles was Eagle Rare.
Yeah, I would say
not
for
nice,
bourbon,
but I mean,
I would say for bourbon, my famous go-to that I recommend for everybody, Woodford Double Oaked. It's a fairly affordable bottle. It's super available pretty much everywhere. It is a really tasty bottle. For Scotch, depending on if you're into smoky stuff, I'd say Ardbeg 10. If you're not into smoky stuff, I would probably say like a Dalmore 12 or maybe a Balvenie Caribbean cask, because those are both pretty friendly, approachable Scotches that aren't pretty readily available and they're not crazy. For the Ardbeg though, you gotta like peat and smoke. If you don't, I'd go more with the Balvenie Caribbean cask or something a little friendlier.
I'm going to go in a slightly different direction, and you made me this way.
I learned it from you, Dad. Dude, I agree.
Old Forester, man. I like the double oaked. I really do, but
I can't disagree with the Old Forester pick, man. I would pick 1920 over that, but that's because you've never had 1920.
I've had 1920. I haven't had 1910.
Oh, I thought that was the one you couldn't find in your area. Oh, that's right. 1910 was the one you couldn't find.
The thing is, the Statesman is like $40 and the 1920 is like 60.
Yeah, that would probably be my other pick, though, honestly. Over other than Woodford, I would probably say Old Forester 1920 because I love that shit.
Yeah, but if you're trying to stay in that like $40 range for your first bottle or getting started, Statesman is really good. But I do prefer 1920. I feel like a broken record because it's just for the price. It's my favorite whiskey.
Dude, it's delicious. You can't complain about a delicious bottle. You know what I mean?
I mean, my favorite bourbon, my favorite whiskey for the price is probably Ardbeg.
When's the new content, Jeremy? Sorry, Tim. Timothy. I don't know if you go by Tim or Timothy, but yeah, I've been a little slow on the content. I got a real busy month. We've had a lot of like product drops we've been trying to line up, and then I've talked about before, my dad's been having health issues and my parents are trying to move. So I'm trying to help them sell their house, not trying to help them sell it, but help them do some little touch up stuff to get the house sold and stuff. So I've just had a lot of, over the last couple months, man, my personal life has really been getting in the way of me pumping out content the way I prefer to do it. But there should be some content coming out real soon. I've got like 3 or 4 videos I need to have out before the end of the month. So there should be some stuff coming soon.
Yeah. I mean, dude, behind the scenes stuff has been wrecking me too. Like, dude, I've got to find a new place to work. Like, I mean, I'm month to month here. I can stay here as long as I need, really. But all the stuff I want to do with my channel, I need more space, and I need not carpets. And and it's been really tough to find a space that really fits my needs. So,
dude, behind the scenes stuff, like all these drops. Like I've got the whiskey glasses dropping this month. I've got the Zippos dropping this month. I've got the ashtrays dropping later this month. I've got another small drop of the man cards dropping later this month. I've got a copper version of the man cards dropping at some point, hopefully this month. There's a lot of behind the scenes shit that's been going on that I've been trying to get all this stuff done for everybody for Christmas. So if they wanted to buy anything for Christmas or buy themselves something nice for Christmas or buy somebody a Christmas gift, that all this stuff would be available. So we've been busting balls trying to get all this stuff done, and it takes up a lot of my time.
Wait a minute. I'm going to be right back. Hang on.
Word. But yeah, my content has been a little slacky lately. I normally like to put stuff out at least once a week per channel, and I have not been meeting that normal requirement I put on myself. But hopefully it'll be back soon. Oh shit, copper. Yeah. Copper version's coming. We're going to do a small drop of copper ones. And then after that, the man cards are not one of the always in stock things. That's not something we're always going to keep. Those are a limited run. So we did the brass ones. We're going to do a very small drop of the copper ones, and then those will be done. We won't do any more of those. Not that we won't do more man cards. We're not going to do any more of those. We'll come out with a V2, which will have a different design and all that.
I was trying to do the most bougie shit ever, which was get my man card and put it in my titanium wallet and just have that in there. And it is like a millimeter too wide.
Because they fashioned it after a license, so it should be, because I wanted it to be, even though it's kind of thick and cumbersome and most people probably would not carry it in their wallet, the whole premise behind it was to be about the same size as a license or a credit card, so that if you wanted to, you could carry it. You
could carry it in a leather wallet, but it's just
a little tight,
just a hair too wide.
Somebody said, love to have for me to have the lady back on. Yeah. She's fun to have in videos, man. I enjoy it. She's probably going to be in more videos going forward. It was a good time. Glad you guys liked it.
Ooh, yeah, that's a really good question.
What's that?
Going to add a Truly opener to the new cards. You better.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure.
I mean, it is a man card after all.
Version 2 has to have a Truly opener and a cuticle pusher, because I think those are two things that you have to have on a man card.
Dustin asks, which Tale of Knives holster do you carry? I currently have this on my hip. This is the Trio Clip, or Clip Trio. So it holds a roughly 1-inch diameter light, a medium-sized knife. So it's meant for something like a small Sabinza. That's what this is meant for. You can see that fits perfectly. And then a pin.
You know, that just carrying. I used to rock the Hitch and Timber stuff a lot, and nothing against Hitch and Timber. I still love it. It's freaking fantastic stuff. Summer got here, and then I haven't been going out as much because of the whole, virus and the corona and all the stuff. So I tend to be at home more, and I just don't see the need to carry quite as much on me when I'm at my house. Right. So lately, like, my carry has been like legit, like a pocket knife, like in my wallet. That's what I carry on me most days lately. That's why I haven't done an EDC update, because my EDC has been like a pocket knife. When I'm going out more often, I have more stuff I carry because I'm out and about. But when you're at your house and everything's kind of at reach, you don't really need to carry all that shit in your pockets. You know what I mean?
Well, this isn't in my pockets. It's on my belt.
You know what I'm saying, though. But you go to your office every day, though. I work from home. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't fucking leave.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of offices, if anybody in the Concord area knows of a space that is not stupid expensive and will work for me, let me know, because I've yet to find anything.
Right. Somebody said, "Am I missed while Jeremy's drinking water?" I'm on an antibiotic for a sinus thing going on, and
he's on a body cleanse right now, and he can't.
No, I'm on an antibiotic, and I've heard many, and I don't know if my particular antibiotic reacts to alcohol, but I have heard that it decreases the efficacy of a lot of antibiotics. So I'm taking a couple dry days until I get through this round of antibiotics before I go back, which really sucks, because right when I started an antibiotic is when I got that fucking Octomore in. And I was like, no. So I had like a little pull of it when I first got it, because I had to taste it. And then I was like, okay, I can't drink anymore until I'm off this antibiotic, because I don't want to fuck it up and end up with a damn sinus infection. Because the last thing you want is like a bad cold or sinus infection right now, because you go in public and you're sneezing and coughing and acting foolish. Everybody's like, oh God, he's got the Rona. So I'm trying to make sure that that gets gone. Let's see. What else we got? Taylor,
cinnamon coffee. I don't know. I would prefer to not drink.
Sounds weak, I know, but seriously, strong. I think it can. I don't know, man, because I don't drink any flavored coffees. That would be tough. Cinnamon's a pretty strong spice, so that can really overpower a lot. So that would be potentially a hard thing to pair something up with. So I don't know what my answer would be to that. Sorry, I wish I could answer that. I don't know.
Jeremiah says, build yourself a studio at your place or near it from the ground up and make videos during to pay for it on your other channel. If I could buy a house right now, that would be 100% what I would do. And it may be what I end up doing because theoretically I should be able to buy a house next year. But right now I rent, so I can't. I have nowhere to put a studio. Otherwise, I would love to do that because in the long run, it is much, much, much cheaper than renting a place because you build it and then it's paid for and you're done versus renting something that's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars every year for a lease that you sign for 5 to 10 years. So yeah, it's way better. Yeah, it's way better to build something, but you got to be able to, like, I've been a business owner for a long time, and just based on the way that I do my taxes, I do not get approved for shit. It's so ludicrous because when I go in to get a truck, they're like, you're good, we don't care. And then I go to get a house and like, I don't like that line on this line of your bank statements. Yep, no, you're fucked. It's like,
dude, that's why I still work out of home. I just don't want the man. It just gets so expensive. It just gets expensive. Somebody said, where do I sell all my merch? 2 places. You can either get it directly on my site, jeremysires.com, or on Exclusive's website, which is harder because it's not exclusive.com. It's like
I misspell it every time.
I misspell it every time and I forget it's I'm just saying EECLV.
Good job.
I can't remember what it is, but the easy answer to that is on my website. My website links directly to Exclusive. When you go there and click on it, it pulls up in a cart on my site, but it's on the back end. It's linked to Exclusive. So you can just go to my website, jeremysires.com, under the custom merch tab.
So Taylor was just grandfathered into the man card and didn't actually deserve it due to Truly. No, what Jeremy doesn't realize, and I don't.
Right, Dan. It's just because he's my buddy. Otherwise, the Truly comment would have gotten revoked. He's my buddy.
What he doesn't realize is true manliness is not caring how manly something you do is.
That there is a very valid point to that.
Yeah,
there really is, and I've made that point on my videos before, because I think people's idea of manliness is a bit outdated at times. Like I've had people that say I'm not manly because I groom my beard. They're like, no, you wash your beard, you comb it. That's not manly. I use fucking motor oil in mine and I brush it with the raccoon penis bone and that's all. And I only do that once every 3 weeks, you big sissy. And I'm like, well, dude, if you want to be a stinky bitch, go ahead. But like, so yes, there is some truth to true manliness is you really don't give a fuck.
And I've always been in that camp. I just do what I like.
I hear you. I hear you.
All right. Well, do you think that's probably a good place to wrap this up? Unfortunately,
for good questions here. 2 mentions.
That is a really good way for Jeremy to say no. He says, no, that's not a good place to wrap it up. Let me go into the microphone while I try to figure out what I'm trying to say.
Because it's almost 11 o'clock, so it is a good place to wrap it up. I was just making sure there wasn't any questions we missed that were maybe just like really good questions that we should hit.
Oh my God.
No, I think we're good. I mean, we can answer.
Jeremy's just looking for a way to continue talking because he likes to talk so much.
Because I've been drinking water and that coffee, dude. I'm telling you, like I've almost got to pee again, so I'm actually going to have to run to the bathroom shortly if we don't get off here soon. So, that was the other thing my doctor told me. He's like, you need to drink more water. So, I've been drinking about a gallon of water a day, and let me tell you something, dude. Do you pee a lot when you drink a gallon of water a day?
Oh yeah, for sure. It'll stop after a while. After about a week or two, it slows down. Your body stops holding on to everything. And
dude, I've been like, I basically just have a glass of water in my pecker in the other hand. And as I'm drinking, it's just coming through because it's that fast.
One last question to round everything out from Bourbon Lens. What bourbon y'all looking for this fall/winter? Well, I'm looking for literally anything that's not on this cart because I have all the stuff I care about already. So literally anything.
One of the ones that I was looking for, I got, which was the Octomore. That was one that I've been looking for a while.
That's not a
And
bourbon.
no, but it's just a whiskey, right? And I finally ordered it online and paid more than I wanted to pay for it because I just cannot find it locally. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and I just cannot find it locally. So that was one that I've really been hunting a lot lately. Bourbon wise, I'd really like to get one of the Old Forester, and I don't know if they're out yet. I believe they are because I think Dan and Sean have some. I really want to try some of the Old Forester uh, batch proof or barrel proof single barrel jobs. I haven't seen any in my area yet. I've got some of the store pick single barrel like 90 proofers, but I love Brown Foreman, so I'd really dig one of the barrel strength Old Foresters.
Maybe before next week's episode, I'll head out to Albemarle, where I heard there's a really good ABC store, or maybe I just bite the bullet and drive all the way to South Carolina and find something there. But if I go, I've got to be prepared to spend a lot of money. And this week was a very expensive week. So, but for me locally, I know that about the limit of what I'm going to find is like Old Forester 1910. So I'm going to look for that because it's not anywhere around. I've looked and looked. I found 1920 and all the other Whiskey Row, but I've not found 1910. So
yeah, it's a good one too, man. For me, 1910 and 1920 are pretty neck and neck. I don't know that I can really easily. Most people would say 1920. I think it's probably a more universally loved, but in my opinion, they're both real close, man. I love them both. They're both really good.
1920 is definitely my favorite one I've tried, but the price sends me back to Statesman every time. I mean,
dude, I was kind of bummed out. Dan and
less.
Sean just did a video and they reviewed Old Forester 150th. I think it was 150th anniversary. It's like a super special bottle. And they weren't into it. They said it was just okay. Like I was kind of depressed because normally Old Forester, man, I'd love just about everything they do. So it was kind of disheartening to hear that a special bottle like that wasn't all that great. But I definitely still want to get one of their single barrel batch proof picks. So that would be my pick, either Octomore, which I already got, or Old Forester single barrel picks.
I don't care what they have to say about any whiskey because they're shitting on my campfire. Okay. Last question, because this one's a good one. Because hey, if you're gonna send me some whiskey, then I'm gonna tell you where to send it. I have a PO box. It's on the description of all my stuff Instagram profile. There's a PO box where you can send anything you want to send, especially whiskey.
I have the same thing in my about section on my YouTube channel. Mine is. It's not really a PO box. It is a PO box, but it's not a PO. It's at a UPS store, so it's actually like a address. I did that because some people won't send stuff to a PO box.
You know what? I've got a really good idea. I got a video that's coming out Friday, and Jeremy finally sent me his home address so I could send him something. I'm going to post that on my video, and I want everybody to send Jeremy butt plugs.
For sure would not be a good idea.
Yeah, like truck nuts. That little pink bit right over there. I think it's just out of frame. Is
home
truck
address
nuts. Somebody send my PO box.
Internet is like the scariest thing ever because there's so many fucking crazy people on the internet. That's why I got a PO. Well, not a PO box, but like a post box at a UPS store. That's not a PO box, but
okay. Well, if we can't send butt plugs to Jeremy's home, we'll at least send them to his PO box.
Look, if you really want to prank me and do that, just send them to the other. Just not my home address because.
But Jeremy is looking forward to your butt plugs. So
sure not. You're just saying that because I said you fucking 3D printed a butt plug.
What kind of butt plug looks like this? That is a very uncomfortable butt plug, my guy.
For a Lego man, which you are most of the time.
That's dude, touche. Hats off for that one. That was a very good ender. That was really good. Thank you guys for sticking with us and dealing with the technical difficulties at the beginning.
Big thank you.
Did not expect YouTube to be down when we went live, but here we are. So Thank you guys for sticking around, hanging out, and making this actually the most viewed podcast live that we've had. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Also, one more time, big thank you to all the veterans out there. It is Veterans Day, so it is always good to take a little time to appreciate those dudes out there doing it for all of us. So one last time, all veterans out there. And yes, they do deliver everything to you, the UPS box. Sorry, Bourbon Lens was asking if all carriers, because some carriers won't deliver to a PO box, and yes, that's why I got the one at UPS, because it's a physical address, so anybody will deliver to it.
Yeah, that's not the case with my PO box. Only USPS will deliver there. So,
which is why I didn't get. Well, one, I don't have a post office real close to me to get a PO box, and plus, there's like the issue of them not accepting everything. The UPS, it's a physical location, so anybody can ship to it. All right, guys.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. Jeremy has already said he's got some drops happening on Friday earlier. If you are a Patreon supporter of his, I have drops going up next week. I have my own personal wallet coming out, a little Carry Commission exclusive.
Still up there?
Yeah, my TPT slides have been available for weeks now.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah. So TPT slides.
The reason why I think I'm routing a lot of people when my swipe up links, I'm routing them to exclusive instead of directly to my website, because me and Chad were talking about it. And that way, because me and you are both on there, people can peruse all the stuff on the website, where when they buy it through my site, they don't see other stuff. So we could do a little cross promoting.
Yeah, true. Very true. I didn't think about it that way. And fuck you, Jeremy. I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I have a wallet coming out. I have sticker packs that I'm finally going to throw back up on the site, new sticker packs. And I got a EDC Weekly coming out this week. I'm going to shoot it tomorrow. So if you have not submitted, just go to edcw.co. You can submit your EDC, and that's it for me. So we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, quick, I got to say it.
Of course.
Whiskey Knife Fight shirt idea. Life ain't always about butt plugs and taint fans. Come on, dude, that's fucking hilarious.
Damn. We got to get on bunker with Whiskey Knife Fight.
Would print that. But anyway, sorry. All right, sign it off. I saw that and I was like, that's worth a fucking interrupt. That's hilarious.
Thank you guys for hanging out. Follow us, support everything. It's all in the description down below or the show notes. And we will see you same place, same time next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday night. See you guys then.
Motherfuckers, kisses.
Patina.